Bro, you know what I've been getting? Like all these spam calls. Just, Indian fellows, and they call me, and I just like do my best to waste their time as best I can.
But isn't that a waste of your own time too?
Yeah, it is, but it's like, when you listen to a podcast and like you do some shit in the background, that's what I'm doing at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like working in the background, and I'm just like, so they're trying to get me to, like, they always get you to try to get like TeamViewer or some like remote control thing, and I'm just like fucking up at every possible step, and then like, oh fuck, I deleted the app, sorry, let me reinstall it.
It's pretty good, like with scam.
Oh, it's good, bro.
TeamViewer and stuff.
I feel like I'm like, I'm allowed to, like Karma allows me to do that, because they're trying to scam me, so it's like, you want to fuck with the general, like, they're just going straight up for old people, disabled people, like, people that need money, or people that are just scared.
Yep.
And it's just like...
I've had a couple of Gumtree scams now.
The Gumtrees, yeah. No, they just go, they're not even good, bro.
No.
They just go, your internet's gonna shut off. I'm like, no, please, no, don't shut off my internet. And I'm like, alright, sir, this is what you're gonna do. And then, they try to get you on your phone now, like, make you download an app. I forget what it's called.
I had a scam job.
It used to be a scam. Oh, we get an inside scoop.
No.
Interviewing a fucking a call center scammer.
It was it was a job. It was a job offer, and it was just like it gave me the contract straight away. No interview, no nothing. And it was just like sign the contract. You have a job.
Fuck?
And I was like, I'm not sure about that. It was $35 an hour too.
Oh, what?
And I was like, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I looked into it, and I was like, hang on, let me just do a bit of research on
Yes,
this.
we get your soul.
That's it. Exactly. And I looked at the.
You have to sacrifice your kids to Moloch. Nothing, no.
And I looked at the company, it's like closed. Like it didn't have any opening times on Google or anything. Called it up, it was like, this number has been disconnected. I was like, delete on the inbox.
Yeah. Cheeky cover story, didn't work out. Yeah.
So that was the end of that.
Huh?
That was the end.
Yeah, fucking
I
hell.
think I got an action job, so it was good.
Yeah. I want to talk about blue pills and red pills, because we were talking before about the balance and the duality of things. And we were speaking on many things, but majoritively, I think it was belief. And how there's a lot of people that are on diametrically opposing sides of any belief, and that's what I like to call like the blue pill side and the red pill side, and like how it's bad for making a logical, rational, just a decision that's like based on your benefit, like that you'll benefit off in the future. Because I feel like, especially with religion, there is no God, which is like the reddest of red pills, and then like some Nietzsche shit, and then the blue pill would be what, like there is one God, or like my God is the only God, or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say blue pills are any traditional religion, theocracy, let's say. So like, although Hinduism is getting more philosophical.
I actually fuck with Hinduism, and low-key Islam. That's like very controversial to say.
I feel like it only gets a bad rap because the people who practice it kind of use it to justify some
radically
pretty horrendous shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't have horrendous shit in it.
No. Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah,
they're pretty outdated, aren't they?
Nah, bro, but I actually fucking like it because you know why? Well, not because of this, but it gave me a bit of perspective. I watched the movie The Life of Pi recently. I hadn't seen it, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's fucking good, man. It's good." And I finally watched it like 2 days ago, and the guy, have you seen it?
So the one with the guys in the boat?
Yeah, with the tiger. Yeah. And as a kid, he gets like just abused, not abused, but like his dad like beams him for believing in Christianity, Islam, and Hindu. But like all he is like you said, Jordan Peterson's separating the wheat from the chaff, and he's finding the true isms in all of the three things, which effectively it's the same religion. They're all Abrahamic religion. But yeah, that made me think like there's always someone trying to put you in like a box and like make you part of this or that. Even the paradigm of red pill and blue, or like belief without any logic, or just like, I mean, they're both belief without logic.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. At least belief without thinking.
Yeah.
It's all very surface level, isn't it? You got one side that just believes it without doing anything whatsoever, just because it's tradition. It's what my parents thought about. It's what my parents have instilled in me. I'm just going to switch off my brain and we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And then the other side, which is like, these people are idiots. I'm going to switch off my brain. And
and just be contrary to the already established idiots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, because people derive a fair bit of fair bit of, oh, look at those idiots.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is happening.
But-
Yeah, none of that's happening at the moment.
Yeah.
But it certainly happens with religion. And, you know, just to be like, well, look at them, they're idiots.
Yeah.
And if you are on the atheist side, you do look at religious zealots, let's go with it.
Mm.
And you kind of look at them and go, well, clearly that doesn't make sense.
I'll turn on the light. Yeah.
No, cool.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Yeah, and I feel like it's just like, legit, just fuck. I'm so sick of. I know this is just complaining, and I shouldn't, like, some stoic shit. No complaining.
That's
Never,
exactly,
never complain.
That's exactly, yeah, I mean, I have to, otherwise you understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you can't change it, and it like irks you, then it's a hemorrhage of energy. You just sit there and you literally lose energy. You start to like go bald.
Yeah.
You stay in bed too long because you just have no power to do anything else.
Yeah.
But then you're like, why are people so stupid?
Yeah.
And you can.
At the same time, it's a trap as well.
It is. It is. 100%. It's definitely an ego trap.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you know, it's funny because you're kind of in that scenario, you're doing what the atheists do to the religious guys.
Yeah.
And then when the religious guys be like, oh, look at those idiots, why can't they see that, you know, that kind of traditional theocracy isn't true? There's no bushy white man in the sky with a beard.
Yeah.
But then we look at the atheists and go, well, why are they so dumb not to look at the universe and everything and be like, just question it at the very least.
Yeah, bro, I say this to everyone that like will fucking listen to it from my mouth. That religion is so important. Like, it built Western culture. It built East, but because we're from the West, bro, you can see how how influential it's been in, especially Judeo-Christian principles, in philosophy, in law, in our moral compasses. Like, so many fucking avenues that affect so many different things. For someone to be like, oh yeah, mate, sorry.
Just sweep back the line.
Yeah, legit. It's just like, even if certain parts are, like, I don't even like to think about it like that, bro. Like, there's things that are obviously not true, right? Like maybe turning, I don't know, water into wine. Like, things that our brain is just like, can't compute, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just fable. Or like, at what point do you stop taking it at face value and you start thinking about it in, like, allegorically? Because, and I'll let you go, but I really want to, before I forget this. Fuck, I already forgot it.
At what point do you make the distinction?
No, but, oh yeah, because this is my train of thought, right? What sticks in your head more? A really good, and this also links to Life of Pi now that I think about it. A really good story that's a little bit fiction, some fact, but there's morals and like there's symbols and there's memorable things in there that's condensed into something small but has a big impact. And Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. Or like a fact, word by word recount of what happened. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Like, we want the story, the essence, not the laundry list of what actually happens.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% agree.
And that's why it's stuck around for so long. Sorry.
Yeah, no, because not only is it more entertainment, I mean, let's bring it into the let's kind of relate to something now.
Lay it on the table.
Contemporary. Like, if you get a scientific report, you know what I mean, like a proper research paper, you read it, you fall asleep like 10 minutes in. Like, you read the abstract, like, yeah, nice. And then you go in the introduction, you're like, yeah, this is kind of cool. And then, like, halfway through the introduction, you don't even get to the method.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
like,
all these cunts are looking at the vaccine.
I mean, they listen, in the vaccine sense, they listen to the people who have looked at it and not well, and then just parroted whatever. It's not even like the truth of the paper. It's their interpretation of the biased paper, which has biased statistics. I'm not saying like all papers are bad, but like it's the general consensus that's just pushing out.
Lobbying, like you said.
So that's one side, right? The paper. And if you get, and there's no real like parable, fable, myth. Myth is massive in that sense, where you have symbolic meaning in the words and what they talk about. Myth is huge for that. The myth of
archetypal truth.
For instance,
go explain that, because I forget.
Sisyphus is the one where
I watch a YouTube channel called Sisyphus.
Really?
Have you seen that?
No,
it's really good. Like, he's some philosophical. He's like, he just does cartoons and shit. But anyway, explain the story.
I think I'm going to talk about it. I'd love to share it later. Sisyphus. I'm pretty sure he's the one that stole the flame of, I think it was truth or something from the gods and gave it to humans.
So it's like the guy who ate the forbidden fruit, pretty much. Got
He
you.
basically defied the gods.
Yeah, yeah,
And then to punish him, the gods condemned him to a life of pushing a massive boulder up a hill throughout the day. At the end of the day, it just rolled back down. You have to do it again and again and again.
That's
And-
so interesting, bro.
And the average person looks at that and goes, it's a story about a guy pushing a rock.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But it's obviously stupid to think that because
Yeah.
that's like it wouldn't be as widespread and pervasive as it is if it was just about a guy pushing a rock. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's-
it
goes
to
into-
me, like off the bat, it just sounds like the like the Christ story, like the
Yeah,
crucifixion.
exactly. Exactly. It's all about kind of the idea of accepting suffering for a noble cause.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, which is you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which also ties into. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's always symbolism between Moses parting the waters to get Christian.
Even that's like parting the waters. Is like parting the red pill and the blue pill.
Exactly, like
Going through the middle.
Through the center.
The-
Exactly.
the-
exactly.
What's it called? The middle of the yin yang thing. I
Um,
don't know what it's called, but probably something.
yeah, I'm not sure what that's called.
Yeah.
Yin yang itself.
Just like
that's
balance.
that is a symbol. Everyone knows about the yin yang.
Mm.
To really like understand. yin yang.
You know who was good for that? And you actually showed me Alan Watts
Oh,
back in the day, bro. When I was like
he's a cool guy.
16 or 15.
Mm.
Yeah, he's good as. Yeah.
He's good. He's fun to listen to.
Oh bloody hell! Like there's emotional music behind it.
Just a bit too loud.
Yeah.
And you just like you just go back to repeat it again.
Yeah, legit.
Look at the dislikes, they're like half honk,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
twice
yeah.
the likes.
And the recording's already crackly as it is. It's from fucking like 1947.
The comments like, can you upload it again?
Yeah, it's you. Yeah.
So, yeah, in that sense, the yin yang is super important because it shows that, and I mean, I guess it's like kind of a commentary on modern day dichotomies, let's call them, where you have left wing, right wing,
Yeah.
you have boomer, millennial, you have
Duality of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
like humans are kind of beings of like extremes in the sense that they just divert, go to a pole, and get this little like gang, and then fight the other gang.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
Alright, one, I disagree
Hmm.
because, and you're right, but I disagree because I want to speak things into existence. So although what you're saying is right now, I don't want it to be true in the future, so I'm going to say something different. But also, and even just you think about the Earth, bro, you have a South Pole and a North Pole. You have a magnetic North and a South, right?
Yep.
And it's just people that follow, like even when we, like the way that humans are distributed, like we're close to the coasts of our country, close to like we follow all these kind of patterns that are true within not only our psyche, but our physical existence. But anyway, I don't think that always has to be the case. You don't always have to, like what happens to the grey area? Like, and I feel like spirituality is the grey area.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
but yeah, what do you reckon of that? Because it's just like, fuck.
It's cool because you look at it and you're like, okay, this is clearly a dipole.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine. Then you look at certain things and you're like, this isn't a dipole. Then you look at what you think one side, or what you think isn't a dipole. You look at the constituents of that, and you realise it is a dipole.
Yeah,
And you're like, okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, just on like a fractal kind of level.
Yeah.
Like the very idea that everything's a dipole kind of breaks the idea of everything being a dipole. Because you're saying that, okay, well, everything's a dipole. But
Yeah.
that's taking a one-sided approach
Fuck.
to what is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I would agree with you. I think that there's a lot of dipoles, a lot of yin yang stuff, but there are some things that are like one. And I think
that's like the essence of where we come from.
if you want to crystallize it, I would say it's like truth as a concept. It's like one thing. There is a truth.
So what is the actual thing that Sisyphus stole then? Like, what is that thing? What did he actually take? Like, and this is, have you seen the movie Eternals?
No.
The new Marvel movie? Effectively, it's like the whole sub-story, like it's a superhero movie, but the sub-story is, there's a God. God will say like the masculine version of God, the patriarch version. and what he's doing is using the Earth to build a new something called a celestial, which is like something that will generate, like it's building another God, effectively. Like say, like the Old Testament's trying to build a New Testament God. And the way that he does that is by using the Earth as like, the Earth is just like the womb, if you want to put it like that.
Okay.
So, and when the Earth explodes, there's like a something that is born, like this thing called, like, I guess you would call it like the Gaia, or like the Mother Earth type thing. So what?
Literally explode.
Literally the Earth, like some Don't Look Up shit. Have you seen that? Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool
relevant.
one.
So
Anyway,
there's a seed in this kind of body.
it's a seed, exactly right. The same way that, and it has like it's like the egg, like the zoomed out version of like a female's egg.
Yep.
Like, and so anyway, he has these angels, or what they're called, Eternals, who are benevolent, and they protect the humans, but they don't interfere on any free will. They don't interfere on like the fighting. They only interfere to fight the opposite archetype of what these these Eternals are, which is the demons. They have similar powers.
Okay.
So they're all fighting and like they're trying to stop each other from fucking up the world.
Yeah.
But the whole premise of the movie is that eventually these Eternals, they figure out that God keeps resetting them, because effectively they're just robots, like they're actual like physical robots that God made to facilitate, like to keep the seed, if you want, like fruitful.
Okay.
So pretty much by the end of the movie, they figure out, and there's 10 of them. They figure out the truth about who they are, that they do this over cycles, and they are actually the ones that facilitate the death of millions of people or billions of people on each Earth. That ultimately makes that big Mother Earth that makes more galaxies or whatever, however it works. Like, so effectively, they're achieving what you would call a bad thing for a common good of other universes, but eventually at the end of the movie, they prevent this from happening. And I feel like that's kind of the test of God, or what you would call like taking that fruit of knowledge from the Garden of Eden and just like using it in the way that you see fit. So effectively, there's this one guy called Icarus in the thing, and he's the one that lives and dies by the patriarchal God that tells him exactly what to do. But then the more feminine, which is his partner that broke up with him, kind of gets into his psyche, and he eventually like figures out what he's done. He just flies into the sun, like the story of Icarus, and then they're allowed to keep the world and the earth. So when I think about that, and I think about that whole kind of all these ties to religion and just for starters, like, well, this is like the stuff that humans like something about that story specifically resonates with us on like on a subconscious level. But anyway, what if God is just testing us to see how far we will take blind obedience until we actually take things into our own hands and fix it for what we see as the common good? And is that a mistake of God, or is that like what do you reckon of that? Does that make sense, like the way I summarise it?
That's a deep thought question, that's for sure.
I was thinking about it while I was watching the movie. I was like, just doing these ones.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. And I think there's a very, let's say, biological, evolutionary slant on it.
Go.
That could kind of bring it to me. So if we look, as humans, we like to think we're conscious, right?
Yeah.
We like to think we know what we're doing. I would disagree most of the time. I think it's an ego thing. I think most humans don't actually know why they do the things they do.
Yep, but I'd agree with that.
I'm talking about everything.
At a biological level.
At a biological level, yeah, 100%.
As a foundation, yeah.
You know, we can go, okay, well, why do we have sex to reproduce? We can go into the science of that. But then you go into, okay, we don't really have sex to reproduce. Most people.
Most times, yeah.
Most of the time, it's for pleasure.
Yeah. Like
So
dolphins,
why
man.
is sex pleasurable?
Yeah.
And then, like, why are we programmed to find what even is pleasure? You know what I mean? Why do we find dopamine, serotonin happy or good, feeling good? What even is that feeling?
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
what is this wiring we've been given? And in that sense, it's God not giving us the freedom. You know what I mean?
No.
It's God being like, we're not conscious.
Yep.
Just take a monkey.
Yep.
Monkey has no idea.
Yep.
Just reproduces, does all the kinky shit because it feels good.
Pleasure and pain. Got
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
I've seen monkeys get up to some like actual monkeys. You know, we can talk about ourselves too.
Monkeys, man!
Oh,
It's a
no, it's not.
I'm gonna be flipping.
There's a video of Joe Rogan.
Oh,
This is my favorite.
googly moogly, look at that
Joe
thing.
Rogan
Look at the
to
muscle.
post his interview.
Yeah.
Every time it goes back to Joe Rogan, he becomes more ape-like. And he's just like really monkey. It's funny, man.
Good as.
I'll chuck a link in the description.
Yeah,
It's great.
legit.
Um,
Yeah, pleasure and pain. So you're saying there's no free will?
I'm saying that free will kind of evolves with consciousness.
Free will evolves with consciousness.
I'm saying if you look at a monkey,
Yeah,
if you look at anything that isn't conscious, right? If you look at like the sun,
like sentient.
yeah, like sentient, yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at the sun, that's not conscious.
Oh,
It's just a bunch of gas that came together because gravity told it to.
yep.
We can go into the plumbing of the universe and be like, why is it like this? Why is blah blah blah?
Interesting.
But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. If we're just talking about free will, if you look at a monkey, which doesn't really have a whole lot of consciousness, they eat because it feels good. They have sex because it feels good. They do other kinky stuff. Seen some monkeys do some non-reproductive kinky stuff
Yeah,
because it feels good.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're saying it feels good because of the years of evolutionary wiring,
Mm.
because obviously reproduction is the goal to keep
Mm.
keep the species going.
Exactly.
So it's been like almost
Mm.
forced together with pleasure.
100%.
Yeah.
You could say that like it was just a completely chaotic series of random events
Yeah.
that led to it feeling good for organisms to reproduce.
Yep.
And that's why we do it.
Yep.
But the more conscious we get, the less we're attached to these kind of base drives, let's say.
I like where this is going. Yeah.
And why that happens, whether it just comes with greater intelligence,
Yeah.
or even though IQ scores have been declining for a while, like, seriously, it's getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
But whether that's tied to IQ or whether that's tied to kind of some other asdom of wisdom,
Yep.
let's say aspect of wisdom,
Yep.
is up for debate.
Mm.
I would say it's probably both. Going
Mm.
back to duality, as it normally is, it's
Mm.
usually both. You can't decide on one or the other, it's usually both.
Yeah.
That's kind of a tough one because we want to be like this, we want to be very dogmatic.
Yeah.
But most of the time, that you cut out a bit of truth to get that.
Yeah. Even in like the pursuit of God, as opposed to something like a Satan, like the same entity effectively. It's just like you don't see the head that just using the two arms to like push people along with this.
Yeah.
Like you're running away from this and running towards this, and then
I mean,
yeah. But so like if you take like the archetype of like Jesus, would you say that that's like the pinnacle of human consciousness? Somebody who willingly takes on the pain of other people to facilitate a noble cause. Is that the peak of consciousness? Is that like, because he's literally God's son.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like setting an example.
Oh, no, that's a tough one. It's
Yeah.
a tough one to kind of crystallize.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because there's a great Alan Watts interview.
Yeah.
Alan Watts is like, yeah, Jesus was a great guy, but bit of a rascal. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
The Crusades, or like the quote unquote like beheadings and all the other religious mischievousness
Yeah.
that has happened in the name of Jesus
Yeah.
hasn't been good. Let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a problem.
Mm.
But I think specifically with Jesus and what he did, his life and all
Right, what we've
Obviously-
seen from the Bible, yeah.
that. Yeah, exactly. Which is probably a little bit
Yeah. Wishy.
conflated,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit pulled string pulled.
yeah, yeah.
He obviously was trying to do good, but I don't think it's a bit rich to argue against Jesus' life, given the kind of nobility he's held to, let's say. But I think he did a noble thing for his time, but that it's never going to solve the world's problems if you die for their sins. If you give up this and that for other people. It's kind of like being a parent. And in many ways, Jesus was a parent to the whole kind of Middle East, in the
Yeah.
sense that he was like clearly more evolved, morally, intellectually.
Yeah, yeah. High
Um,
consciousness.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And in that sense, he was kind of like a parent
Mm.
to the children of whatever area.
Yeah,
he
like the
was.
kindergarten level humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you get like, those kind of paintings of him like on a rock, the whole village or whatever, sitting there listening to him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a kindergarten teacher and the kids.
Yeah. Oh, fuck no, yeah.
But in that sense, you kind of, it's got the same problem that a parent and a kid does if you don't make sure the kid knows that what they're doing is wrong. And you really gotta like hone that in.
Yeah.
Because if you just, let's say, give them money, say that they can never do no wrong, participation levels, and all the rest,
Yeah.
they grow up thinking they don't have to take responsibility for anything.
Yeah.
That it's all good, they can
Yeah.
do whatever they want, no problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
But how else do you show somebody who's stuck in that mindset
Mm.
other than embodying, like, be the change, you know? Like, you can't
I think
change.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You gotta be the change, 100%.
Yeah. But you don't. But you see it like him dying for the thing they believed in as unproductive. Yeah. But
Exactly.
yeah. But if it creates like a massive legacy, it's like effectively what he does is he wasn't. I mean, if you think about it in like the Tupac terms of things, there's like that quote from him, and it's like, I might not be the one that changes things, but I might be the person that inspires the person that does change, or like however many cycles down that road you want to go down. Like, I will be the one that starts the spark or continues the spark that will create the revolution that will not be televised. But
What was with Tupac? I never heard his story. Was he the change, or did he just go around preaching the change?
he was very influential because he just, I don't know, he went against the grain for a lot of things. But he was like, and like a lot of people will be like, Tupac's a fucking CIA like agent, like he's just a fucking Illuminati, plant like a music industry. But the whole idea of him as a person that makes him so attractive to his audience is because he has one foot in chaos and one foot in order, one foot in the streets and one foot in the righteous path, one foot in, you can keep listing off those, like, he is the Jesus archetype of that era in rap for those people.
There were a lot of people like that in rap.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Rap gets such a bad rap. There's a lot of people because you ask anyone about rap, they're going to think it's like, it's just gangbangers and just shit.
Yeah.
And to be fair, a lot of rap is like that, especially modern rap.
Oh, bro.
If you go back to the 90s, listen to rap, it's poetry. It really is.
Yeah.
It is poetry, just kind of with a toughness.
Still is, bro. Mate, I'll tell you what, Jay Electronica, fat artist, you should suss him. Kanye, who else? Jay-Z, people like Tupac, people like, bro, you go suss Jay Electronica. So, he's like one of my favourites.
You heard Guru from, what's it called? Gangsta.
I think.
Guru's like definitely down that kind of hole. Nas, obviously.
MF Doom, Nas.
MF Doom's, yeah. MF
And all his alter egos.
He's got his own kind of style, which is nice.
Yeah. You don't get that anymore, bro, because
No.
everybody's attention span has just gone from this to because of fucking TikTok.
Exactly. I was about to say, it's all TikTok.
Yeah.
It's all like, because you can just flick through like 4-second videos.
Yeah.
I don't get the appeal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect you to get it, because like I feel like you're like me in the fact that like, in the sense that,
Deep buttons.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
like I made a TikTok
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I was doing it to post like shit for this, to like promote. And like, yes, you get a lot of views, but you just get put out to people that won't resonate with the type of things that I want them to resonate with, And I don't resonate with fucking putting shit on TikTok, personally, even though it would be beneficial.
Yeah, for like,
Just getting just putting your, like it's like the top of the funnel, if you want to put it like that.
yeah, no, I know exactly.
Just getting cold audience.
But it's a very superficial audience. when you
Yeah,
think about
for the
it.
most part. Yeah.
It's all just,
But that's people, bro. The majority of people are on TikTok. The majority of people care about how big your titties are or if you're funny. That's pretty much it. You know?
I guess going back to it, that's kind of, what this is all about, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
And other things. It's about getting away from that.
yeah.
Going more into these
Yeah.
long, drawn-out conversations about things that actually add value to your life. Like, who cares if you see someone throw a banana up 3 spins and then they catch it in their nostril? like, what's the point?
I mean, it is good. Like,
it's impressive.
dopamine still goes off in your brain.
Yeah. But like, if we're talking about evolving consciousness,
Yeah.
that goes back to the monkey just doing whatever feels good. You know what I mean?
The monkey brain, yeah.
Exactly. If you just listen to and watch TikToks for that dopamine hit, you're basically just aping.
You're a degen, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, there's nothing wrong with it here and there because
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
I'm not calling people that watch TikTok degenerates, but I'm saying TikTok is overall degenerate.
Yeah, it's growing out of control to wildfire.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And not only that, it's a fucking surveillance.
yeah, exactly.
Like, don't even get me started on fucking
Yeah,
it's Chinese cameras, mate.
company and stuff.
Oh, I
There's
can't even
all this
include
shit
that.
going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, YouTube's no better.
YouTube's no better.
Yeah.
YouTube's no better. But
So,
there's more people that want to consume content like this. Like that you listen to something, and that's like from the time I was like 15 or 14 or even 13
yeah.
to like now. That's just what I suss because I just want to listen to someone say something and get the brain gasm and be like, that is a shift in perspective. I've never thought about it like that, and that's why I like talking to people on a podcast form, Matt, because I get that now, but then other people get that as they watch it in like 5 years from now.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I love that shit too.
Mm.
Because it's like nourishing to your soul.
Oh, bro.
You
for
kind of
sure.
like get more bricks and build up this.
Yeah, yeah.
You sharpen iron.
Yeah. On some Master Builder Lego movie shit.
Design, you got
Yeah.
a fortress by the time you're like
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
And
Fucking
you're
right.
like, I mean, you pay a price. Obviously, you look around to
Yeah.
TikTokers and you're like, but
Yeah.
you're better off for it as a human being.
Yeah.
Because
For
you
sure.
understand that.
Yeah.
And
But-
you can draw more out life.
Yeah.
So,
I think like I was even watching like Logan Paul's podcast, and like we were talking about before, how there's 3 types of people when you talk about what they talk about majoritively. Bro, you know majoritively isn't a word. I'm so flat about that. Majoritively, but I still say it because I like it. So
it's like
add it to the dictionary, Oxford or
Just chuck it in.
Webster. Yeah. So it's the people that talk about things, people that talk about people, and the people that talk about or other people, and the people that talk about ideas. And that's pretty much what we're talking about. TikTok is things and people, and long form podcast is ideas, and that's the most nourishing, like the crown chakra type shit,
Exactly.
the third eye type shit.
So,
Yeah.
I agree.
But I was watching Logan Paul's podcast, and like, yes, it's good. Yes, he's a very smart individual. Yes, he's very driven by his ego. Yes, he talks about just people and things, and yes, he is ultimately very successful for it. But like, at what point do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care if I'm not successful, because this is not only nourishing, but it's like almost like therapy. Like,
Yeah, well, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
And like going a bit of a tangent, but it's
continue, bro.
so related. So, psychology these days is in shambles.
Yeah.
It's completely fucked.
Yeah.
People, psychologists, listen to their DSM, like the Diagnostic Statistics Manual. It's got all the fucking psychiatric disorders in it. They look at you, they
Tick the
and
boxes.
they go when you leave and you pay $150 for an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Open the book and they try to figure out what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
According to the manual.
Yeah.
Now that has its uses,
Yeah.
but that whole process of just jotting shit down, listening to the person talk, not really listening, but just kind of like figuring out what's wrong.
Identifiers. Yeah.
Exactly.
Trying to find identifiers.
Kind of sifting all the stuff,
Yeah.
figuring out what's wrong with them, and then referring them to a psychiatrist to get them on pills.
Yeah.
Doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't do it. And that's a major problem because that's how it's done these days.
Yeah.
If you have like a really bad psychiatric disorder, they don't ask what's your relationship to your parents.
Yeah.
Like, are you getting enough sun?
Like the good ones.
All this stuff that's just normal and natural.
Yeah.
It's not hard stuff, it's not complex.
Yeah.
But they gloss over all that, and they're just like, we'll get you on Zoloft. It's like,
Bro, that's my fucking biggest fear, because like I was talking to you about before, like the little breakthrough that I went, the ego dissolution or whatever.
yeah.
I was like going to go see someone because I was like feeling quite anxious. But at the end of the, like when I got to the thing, I was like, no, I don't, like this is not going to be helpful. I can already see in the future, like I'm not saying, because I've done it before, I've been to like talk to people, but like I'd much rather fucking figure it out the natural way, as in just talking and interfacing to people, because that's so like not done anymore. Yeah, bro. And like my biggest fear is like taking some shit like that and just being like the shell of a person that like I used to be, because it takes away like your fucking creative hemisphere of your brain in some aspects.
And I think like you also take, I'm not sure if this applies to it, but I feel like most people take it and they're like, this is it, it's done, I don't do any more work. I mean, so
Yeah, I don't have to do the inner work, yeah.
It'll just fix itself, magic pill,
Yep.
and that'll be the end of it. And it doesn't do that.
No.
It doesn't even do that even, right? If it did that, mental health problems, I mean, like COVID aside, I mean, sickness aside, wouldn't be like, you know, that causes its own bout of mental health problems.
Yeah.
Before the sickness, there it was just escalating. You look at the charts, it's just pop, 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 pop. And why? Like, at the very least, you can discern that what they're trying to do now isn't working.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do now is, okay, let's get you on, you know, this plan of attack kind of thing. Go out for a 10-minute walk, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
breathe.
while that can help.
Yeah.
Can
It does help.
It does.
I'd say objectively it does help.
The lowest level is biological.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Which is like sun, all the natural stuff.
yeah. Sun, diet, sleep,
Exactly.
exercise.
Good relationships.
Yeah.
Now we're getting more into the high kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You really need the courage to go into like, what has happened in your life? How has that affected you? How do you think about yourself? All these things, and really scrutinize whether they're doing you any good.
Yeah.
And I think if people did that, and no one knows, if they did, they'd
Because it
realize
takes
that-
a level of self-reflection that people are just incapable of, or they
Exactly.
seem to me to be incapable of it a lot of the time, because of the fact that there's always a distraction. There's always a thing
There's
that you
always a
can,
TikTok.
a pill that you can pop, or a
Exactly.
video that you can watch
Exactly.
to take it away from them.
100%.
Yeah.
And like,
And that's the. I'm gonna say it straight out. That is the mandated therapy. Is
it's the
that
same kind of idea.
it's a fucking what? You're gonna be on a 6-month subscription. Every 6 months you gotta fucking
Exactly.
put the spike protein into you.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to deep dive.
Yeah, bro. Dave, clap for me. Mark, Susan.
It's I 100% agree that that's exactly the same concept.
Yeah.
Is people want the cheap fix.
Yeah.
And they want the cheap fix, and like, you know, we can get into why it was the way it was. You know, why the media reported this thing was the most deadly thing on earth
Yep.
for all ages.
Yep.
And why we need to be.
Yeah. Well, in trying to remain objective, right? Because like obviously, when someone would watch this conversation, they'd be like, oh, they know what kind of side I'm on and you're on.
Yeah.
But in remaining objective, like it probably was better because of the fact that there was a virus. That it's better to
Be protective.
over fucking do it, because then people know, than to underdo it and then it goes out of control,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
I
But at the
agree.
same time, the reason that I believe, and you as well probably, that it was over like just spammed because that's what sells on the news,
Oh.
like hate, anger, fear,
100%.
division.
100%.
Yeah,
The infectivity rates of someone who has or has not had the medicine
it's the same,
are
right?
the same.
Yeah.
And there were studies on that. The problem with all the studies in general is that there's so much conflating information
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
There's so much horse crap out there that everyone on the get the medicine side looks at A studies, and everyone on the this shit's poison side looks at the B studies.
Yeah, and from the perspective you're talking about it from is like an observer of these two groups.
Exactly.
We're like, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
the best we can.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
the place we're coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say don't or get. I think the medicine does have a place.
Sure.
If you're old enough, or you have enough comorbidities, or you're whatever.
If the
reason,
benefits
it's-
outweigh the
it's
like
a
with
cost
any
benefit
decision,
analysis.
bro. Like
Exactly. It's a cost benefit analysis.
yeah,
And you have to weigh it all up. You just get your pros and cons out and then weigh it up. Kids do not have any pros to gain from this, from getting medicated. It just, there's nothing there. They're safe. They're
Yep.
robust immune systems. They're fine.
Yep.
They have a lot of cons. A lot of cons.
yeah.
And there are,
Not to mention like the survival rate.
like with the sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're fine. They don't need it. If you go walk around the streets, tell someone there that you're doing more damage to kids by giving them the medicine than not giving them the medicine, it just won't compute because they've been told this and they cannot even entertain an opposing idea.
Yep.
And it's cooked.
Yeah.
And that's how you know that something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you
Effective.
kind of smell
Oh.
it in the air. Go outside and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think everyone who has a little bit of intuition and trusts that intuition, everyone has it obviously, but in different doses. From the very beginning, has kind of been like, this is a bit too overzealous. You know what I mean? We're not looking at both sides here.
And you can tell that just from the fact that like, as soon as you take, like, you're not allowed to be wrong.
Exactly.
Like you can say something very outlandish that challenges the status quo, and it's effectively you're censored from Instagram. You get a copyright strike. You get a community guidelines violation.
Misinformation.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like, there's people that don't know who are genuinely ill-informed that are taking maybe the wrong or the too far on the red pill side of things, and they're just being shunted and put in a box and not being allowed to actually have a discourse with, like, you know what I mean? And if everyone's so like, oh, we're all about education, this, that, and the third, where's the education for those people? The same way that there's people who won't leave their house because they're scared of a virus, rightly so sometimes,
yep.
but at the same time, they're both stuck in the boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're stuck in the prisons.
And
And I don't like that.
no, no. I think we should be able to talk. We should be able to like get around the table, kind of like Q&A on like 7 million fuckers.
And that's what you can smell when you say this stinks. Because
there's none of that.
yeah, there's no
completely one side.
Yeah.
And yes, there's like
perfect example.
yeah,
Djokovic.
Djokovic, exactly. You look at Djokovic and
Can we just, before we even start this, bro, the cunt's name is Novak.
yeah.
What kind of like fucking conspiracy theory is that, bro? Novak.
Novak's kind of.
Novak is a Novaxed.
Is that actually? Is that the translation?
No. Like Novak. And he's
Novak,
unvaxxed.
like, yeah, vax.
Novak. Like, bro, is that not cooked as fuck to you? I was like, what the fuck? Anyway. So for those of you that don't know, he was prevented from getting a visa. So he can't even come to this country because of the fact that his public opinions can incite or could incite a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking. The CCP has entered Australia. This is now
CCP.
like the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, the fucking
If you
the
have a-
Sentinels from the fucking the X-Men have entered the chat now.
Exactly. They're coming down.
Fucking hell.
You can't fight them. They're impenetrable. They're just
Yeah. You just gotta hide now.
Good movie that one too.
Yeah, the X-Men's good as.
But no, you're 100% right. If you have an opinion that differs from the proved opinion, not allowed.
Yeah.
And that's a major.
And that's literally in the court documents. In like you can. It's not here. It's nothing like
Yeah.
outlandish to say. They didn't let him in, not because he's a danger, not because anything to do with the actual thing that created the sickness, but because his personal beliefs
Yep.
will inspire. This is their opinion, but his personal beliefs will inspire other people to take on. Like his influence will influence other people.
Yeah.
Like
Which is interesting.
yeah, and you know what? This is actually very interesting because I was having this conversation with one of my mates yesterday. The ATP, is it ATP? The tennis, ATF? The tennis fucking federation,
Yeah, whatever it is.
they want money, bro. Like, effectively, they're about money. Now, if he was to play in this tournament, the polarizing nature of his character, for one, would bring a lot of fucking attention. And you know what? All the people that don't agree with that decision should absolutely be paying no attention to tennis, to the Australian Open right now. The fact that they didn't let that happen, that they missed out on all of that scandal, that drama, all of that magnetic like things that people would be drawn to, for me, that makes me think they're getting paid more money to kick him out than more money to leave him in.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And right now he's suing the government back for $6 million worth of damages. Because, bro,
I read before we came here that Serbia justice system's a little bit corrupt.
In
especially
Serbia?
These times.
fucking no.
I'd imagine in Serbia not too bad because Serbia's actually, I think it's stopped. They've got a couple of companies that had Australian imports, coal, iron and stuff.
I got you.
And they're just like, no more imports.
Yeah,
So they're not doing business with Australia.
China's doing that to us as well.
Exactly, yeah, that's for other reasons. Wartime.
Yeah, nah.
So,
Maybe.
maybe. I mean, that's a few more years down the line.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting just to look at the whole thing and be like, why is there such a focus on the medicine? Why is there such a focus? And it's not even like it's worldwide anymore. The UK has dropped on mandates, obviously because Boris Johnson got called his pants down. So
Yeah.
it's more political. The mandates in the USA got rejected by SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of, like the Supreme Court.
US, yeah.
So it's all starting to crack.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, let's talk about that. What's that called when you know what I'm talking about, yeah? The beliefs, the dome cracking.
The schizophrenic breakdown.
Yep, that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, depending on how fast it cracks, it's going to be interesting to see how the general narrative changes.
Yeah. So the axiom like of that would be, eventually people are going to realize that this is not about the logics, like the logics. This is not about logic and fact. It's more about something else. Whatever we want to call it, it's about something else that's not based in logic and fact.
Yeah.
And eventually, there will 100% be a point where people look back and they think, "Oh shit, we've been a bit like, the wool has been pulled over your eyes a teeny tiny bit, right?" At that point, what are your two options as somebody who's subscribed very heavily to this whole thing? Like in your like, the dome cracks and like you just think you're an idiot, like because you're psychologically, you know, you've had a bit of education, yeah.
Education.
What happens when like something that you believe in is been like just cracked?
Cracks.
Like you go crazy. Some people just can't deal with it. Some
Yeah.
people just like,
Yep, 100%. I reckon there's going to be, it's compounded by the fact that not only is this just a belief, but it's a belief on the deepest level possible.
it's like the cave allegory, right? Plato.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But the problem is, like, in the cave allegory, they're fine because, you know, they're in the cave, they see, they think this is reality, and then they go out of the cave and realize it's not reality.
Mm.
Fine. It would be like if they were injected with a poison in the cave and then, you know, let out of the cave and they were told in the cave that this injection was for surviving in the cave.
Hypothetical.
It's
This is all hypothetical.
exactly, they're not related to modern discourse at all.
No.
It's much worse because half the reason people are arguing, let's say,
Yeah.
and shutting down opposition knowledge
Mm.
is because they've taken a medicine that is irreversible. Once you have it, you can't get it out of your system.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And so that's something you now have to live with,
Yeah.
right? If it comes out that this medicine is not as safe as it has been drilled into people,
There's already, as you said, cracks in that.
there's already a lot
foundation.
of evidence. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
mainstream. No one talks about it. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, they do.
there.
They're saying it's bad to take fucking boosters every 6
Yeah.
fucking months.
The EU's
Yeah.
come out and they're like, it will weaken your immune system. They're going to get to destroy your immune system a bit, but they want to, like, you know, let people down slowly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to come off as like arrogant in this sense, because it's not a matter of arrogance. I'm sure you have, and I'm sure I know I have, been trying to get people to at least consider that maybe they're not as safe and effective as you're being told.
That's right. You can't say that, bro.
Exactly. And you just get drawn down. And it's very easy to go into ego mode. And
Yeah.
be like, you're on the medication side, I'm on the non-medication
Mm.
side. Look, I have the facts. You're just parroting what you hear on the box.
Yeah.
You say that and you fucking explode. And like, it's very easy to be like, you're wrong, I know you're wrong. But, and you're going to figure it out eventually.
Yeah. That's what I've just learned. Just because nobody likes a cunt that's fucking protesting, bro.
Yeah.
So just be the change you want to see, and then
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just live it, because
yeah.
it becomes very 1945 Germany
Yeah.
if they start forcing it on people.
Mm.
They already are, in
Mm.
the sense of coercion. You
Yeah.
can't work
It's the
on
same, exact same ideology. Not the same action, but the same ideology
Yeah.
and leadership structure.
Exactly. And people who have taken the medicine will tell you that it's not coercion. But like, you can't go to pubs, you can't go to clubs. You couldn't even like, in some countries you can't go out and do anything apart from essential stuff.
Mm.
You can't even exercise in Austria.
Yeah.
They're finding people in Austria
Yeah.
at the end of January. They're finding people like £4,000 a month,
Fuck that.
4,000 euros
Yeah.
for not getting it. It's
Yeah.
insanity.
Yeah. It's bad.
And it's very easy to look at them, or the other side, let's say, and be like, you're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
And if you go on Rumble, BitChute, well, all videos aren't taken down by YouTube and stuff. It's basically free forum.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. BitChute. Yeah.
BitChute's great for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
It's
on
like
there.
YouTube that decentralized. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So YouTube, I think it might be decentralized. It's certainly not censored to the same degree.
Yeah.
And there are videos there that most people don't look at this current point in time.
I don't blame them
Mm.
because once
It's
you're
terrifying.
yeah, fucking oath. You're having your because I went through this in my whole like December little period of just having your ego just like what you once believed to be the truth dissolved, and you're just left with the pieces like, oh, where do I go from here? Who
Yeah.
actually am I?
Yeah.
Because that's effectively what happens, right?
Mhm.
Your whole
Mm.
environment just like kind of crumbles in on itself, and you're just left being like, yeah,
I think most people are going to have been, let's go back to 2019,
Yeah.
have already been in a very psychologically vulnerable state
Why?
because they don't know themselves. They don't
Okay.
have like intimate relationship with themselves. This is just people in general.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then they get this. Okay, then this.
From our experience of the general human, like the average human.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Like
where
if
it's
you-
coming
If you just
from.
take like a general human
Yeah.
and kind of like pick their brain for a bit, you find that they don't really know themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have a solid foundation, let's
Mm.
say. If you get that person, group of humans, and then put them into a lockdown for 200-300 days, as we've had here,
Mm.
they are isolated.
The
They're
Simpsons
terrified.
movie.
Exactly. Yeah, we fucking know.
Yeah.
And you isolate them, right? They're going to get more mentally ill, just
Yeah.
by fact.
Yeah.
For the fact that you can't go out, you can't
Because
exercise.
that hierarchy of
Nothing
needs,
outside.
it's being. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't see people. Your quality of life has diminished,
Yeah.
right? So your mental quality diminishes too.
Mm.
From there, you go, okay, we have this one thing, this savior, the medicine, right? You get them to take the medicine, and then this kind of.
But when you put it like that, it's fucking like it's like someone's playing with like their rats, like in a cage, like an actual experiment.
Yeah, and you might say maybe that's the motive behind it. For whatever reason, that motive is being pushed. Who knows?
Mm.
There are theories, but that's one of those like theological things that you can never really prove until the evidence is out there.
Yeah.
If the evidence ever gets out there.
No, I will. You can't lie, bro.
Hmm.
The truth is only what you get away with, and the truth is only what you get away with.
Yeah. Just look at what I've shown you,
Yeah.
and just on base principles, on foundational principles, figure out whether that's the truth.
Yeah.
Don't look at someone else's opinion of that thing and then take that as truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're going to be biased.
Yeah. And that's not just with this; it's with everything.
That's with everything. Yeah.
Like-
more so nowadays.
Yeah. And that's literally like what social media has given us.
Hmm.
Just like this group thought,
Grouping.
crowdsourcing all of like everything.
Yeah, it's really bad.
From am I good looking to what should I like do with my life to
Exactly.
like.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, interesting. I was talking to my cousin about in the future, social media companies might be like mandated by legislature. What's the word? Legislation. To pay people for you giving them your information. So like in the future, there might be certain rules and regulations in place that if Instagram wants to take the information that they make heaps of money off through ad revenue, they're gonna have to pay me. Like I can have the option for me to not give it, or for them to pay me in order to have it.
I was gonna say that's a good thing because they're already doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
like
already taking
exactly. How awesome would that be?
It would.
And like-
I think cryptocurrency comes into that on a bit of a segue.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, there is blockchains, kind of a bit tricky to get into.
Mm.
So right now in the music industry, you have artists producing music, right?
Yeah.
I think they get 14% of all profits from their music. Because like a big chunk goes to the manager.
Yeah, less.
Big chunk goes to like that
Less than,
price.
it'll be less than 14.
Exactly. Big chunk goes to like Spotify and stuff to get it out there.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And they lose so much.
Yeah.
There's this cryptocurrency project called Audius, which allows them to basically run the whole show themselves.
Mm. Yeah, I've heard this, yeah.
And yeah, it's great stuff. Because if you get
Sure.
into that, you give power back. to
Yeah,
the
there's
people
no
who
need
actually-
for record
Yeah.
labels anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what do? They're just like fixing the kind of process. They're moving like that.
Yeah, this is what I mean when I say the world is like going to get better.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Like things like this will slowly start to happen, and like you'll stop seeing all this injustice, and that's why I say the truth is only what you get away with,
Yeah.
and you won't be able to get away with much
Mm.
in the future,
That's
especially
the
with technology, especially with crypto, especially with all this stuff.
No, no.
But yeah, explain the
It's kind of funny though how humans are so flawed that we need to get trustless technology to redeem us.
it's yeah,
You know what I mean?
fucking hell.
It's like everyone wishes that governments could be good and competent.
Mm.
Everyone wishes that we didn't need middlemen, and the whole system just works perfectly and everyone gets a fair treatment.
Yeah.
But humans, almost by design, unless they have an interest in the whole thing,
Mm.
kind of screw each other over.
Yeah.
And the beauty of blockchain tech
Yeah.
is that you don't need that to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's all trust.
That's what our fucking society has been based on. But at the same time, it does go back to like biological hierarchy. Like the asshole who knows that he has no reason
Mm.
to give you anything for free
Mm.
will always come on top
Yep.
in certain arenas,
Mhm.
like financial arena, physical dominance arena.
Yep.
These things that we kind of associate with like success in the Western world,
Mhm.
and that's like the new era, I believe, of like conscious awareness
Yeah.
will value people who are more empathetic, are more willing to give, are less attached to the ego,
Mhm.
less attachment to currency, money,
Yep.
all this stuff,
Yeah.
because it makes more. It's, you know what it is. It's the integration of the feminine aspect
Mhm.
to our psyche, because with like things like the patriarchy,
Yep.
over the past couple hundred, whatever time period it is,
Mhm.
a long time,
Yep.
it's very masculine dominated, very right brain. Is it right brain or whatever it is?
I think it's more like logic.
Yeah, yeah. It's very logic based instead of, and now we're integrating the feminine in, and we're becoming more whole
Mhm.
as a collective. And I feel like it'll be very, very good to see. Like, I have an optimistic outlook for the future, even though right now it's a bit tumultuous. But
Yeah.
it's like a turning point.
Yep. I would agree.
Yeah,
I think it's going to get better.
yeah. So like we do say like humans are dumb and like all this fucking
Yeah.
like war's coming, but like no.
It's
I think that like the good will always win.
it's a tough one because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, yes, I think everyone wants to get better.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
human.
yeah, of course. So we should be focusing on the things that like unite us instead
Yeah,
of the things that
exactly.
don't.
We should,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And again, this goes back to the yin yang.
Yeah.
I think we both need to focus on what you're saying, like the good stuff and
Mm.
kind of nurturing the good stuff.
Oh, for sure.
But we also need to stop being stupid and
Yeah,
focus on like
yeah,
what we're screwing up.
yeah, yeah.
Because
The good that's the good parts of Judeo-Christian principles. That stop being stupid.
stopping, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, like get your head out of the gutter.
Yeah, stop being a degenerate,
Yeah, exactly.
a hedonist.
Which, and that's what I love about like Christianity because it does have good stuff in there. Which is
Okay,
why I
if it
hate
does,
ones that are
bro.
just like atheism.
Yeah.
It's like they completely look over the fact that a lot of Christianity is about you can be completely.
Can we change before you go? Can we change Christianity to like the Ten Commandments? Because there's a lot of people will be like Christianity, oh, hates gays. Oh, sorry, don't like it. The Ten Commandments is like this is good.
The Ten Commandments, yeah. I was like as a
Like, just-
general like rule
Yeah,
set.
like the golden rule type shit.
You go, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, sorry
I
for
think in the
interrupting.
large part that's what Christianity was
Yeah,
back then.
Yeah.
If you look back to like 00, it was we would have been chaos. You know what I mean? It would have been like just shankings like in the alley.
yeah, Babylon, the fall
Yeah,
of
it
Babylon,
would've
man.
Exactly. It would have been like would have been political and social more or less chaos. Way
Mm.
worse than this now.
Mm.
And there wouldn't have been, I mean, obviously it would have been very ancient versions, but there wouldn't have been a kind of solidified religion in the sense of like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
why do humans exist?
Oh well, there would have been
What's going on?
the Jewish faith
Yeah.
and I guess I don't
Like,
know, the Eastern traditions.
all that, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's, I guess the Jewish faith would be right
yeah.
in that, in terms of, what's it called?
Middle Ages. I don't know.
Whatever it was.
Whatever time period that is.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that completely separate communities have their own religions. Like religion is kind of like almost a natural
Yeah. Oh,
growth of humans.
Yeah.
Kind of
it's
thing.
because bro, spirituality is innately human.
Mm.
Like, and that's why not hate. That's why I'm hesitant to completely, because like there's always like when you grow up, yeah, especially in this society, in this day and age, you're kind of like atheism's a massive thing.
Mm.
Like a lot of people have kind of like God is dead type shit,
Mm.
but like no,
Yeah.
you know, because that's cutting off an integral part of human culture
Uh-huh.
for like 40,000 more.
Exactly.
I'd say the whole human like existence on this earth
100%.
we've always been looking at something else and believing in a higher purpose or a better future.
Exactly.
And that's just like that's what Jordan Peterson says religion is or God is
100%.
in whatever form.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Mm.
Whole, like the general mentality, you go to even if you go to university these days, if you just talk to anyone on the street,
Yeah.
religion, and it's almost necessary that kind of fixed religion slowly dies out into a more kind of spiritual religion.
Yeah.
That's needed, and one needs to go for the other to stay because one's kind of more
Dogmatic.
metaphorical and symbolic. The other one's kind of like living it and understanding like what spirituality is.
Yeah.
What, like just looking in awe at like the world. And, like,
Yeah, yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
is
yeah.
going on.
But even not being closed-minded to everything.
Hmm.
Like I'm someone, maybe that's just my personality,
Hmm.
but I don't need facts to believe something's true most of the time, or like in certain scenarios. Obviously, I'm not gonna be an idiot. Like there's still the don't be stupid thing, but so many people are so no. Like I won't invest anything into this until I can guarantee, and that's not how life works, man. You gotta. There's chaos before there's order.
Mhm.
There's the
Yeah.
jump before the landing, right?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like, you see that all the time. You see that just on that point. You see that in the universe. You see that with like stars and shit.
Yeah.
Like one star explodes, it has
Yeah.
gas and rocks and
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
spice
yeah.
everywhere. And then it all kind of comes together and all this stuff, and then we have a solar system.
Yeah,
And this thing's the ordered fucking thing in the world.
yeah,
These planets on a plane, they're like off of Pluto, fuck I don't know. And then, yeah, they're all like going around. It's all ordered. The speed of light's set. You
Yeah.
can't go faster. It's all like, don't think we can go faster. Open to interpretation.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
As of right now.
exactly. And it's all very like ordered, but it starts in chaos.
Yeah.
Um,
Inseparable, like the ego from our brain.
exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
It's a good one. Though.
There's a good one.
It's not a. We like to think of ego, especially like once you look at it for long enough, as a bad thing, right? People say like, "Oh, you got to be ego." Kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And most of the time, it is true. Like, because ego is kind of you just want power and social status.
Yeah.
and
Well, I
those
mean,
things.
it's like encouraged.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it's a certain high-profile way of life, let's say. But ego isn't that bad of a thing. It's kind of a way. I think Tyler Gordon put it. The ego is a way for us to figure ourselves out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure, sure.
In the sense that you
And every hero archetype goes through the
go
ego, the
down into
inflated
the-
ego, and then the what's it called? Do you know psychic inflation?
Yeah, that's basically ego. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with one of my other mates
Hmm.
about how like all these people that follow that kind of egoic hero archetype or like assign themselves to an archetype through their life, all the greats,
Hmm.
Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Van Gogh,
Hmm.
Kanye,
Hmm.
some just cunts like that,
Hmm.
just highly people that you would just Steve Jobs, people that you would find if you interact with them, it's very like a lot of friction
Yep.
because it's just what they want.
Yep.
These are the people that their mind fragments and they either go through that what you said,
Yep.
that revolution in their brain,
Mhm.
or they like just go crazy and they
Yep.
can't deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Agree.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not like ego is bad. It's just that
No, because it gets shit done.
it does get shit done.
Yeah.
It gets shit done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you need. It kind of lives in this material
Yeah.
world, and you
Right.
need that because you are the material.
Yeah,
You know,
fucking oath. That's why I fucking hate when people like, when females are like, we don't need men, or I don't need men.
Hmm.
Okay, buddy.
It's like depends what you're talking about. You know? It's a very
Yeah.
sweeping kind of.
Yeah, no, when they make a sweeping statement like that,
Yeah.
like
we
fuck
don't
all
need
men or some shit.
But you know, it's like fueled by
Ah.
this kind of more feminist ideology, let's say. And like
Not to say that it's bad,
Yeah, I mean, if
but we would strive for equality,
the equality of like not outcome
not outcome.
as the
Opportunity,
It's
yeah.
opportunity, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
You can't have equality of outcome. It'd be the most boring world. It'd be boring.
yeah,
It wouldn't work.
yeah. It wouldn't work.
That's basically the US at the moment. Just stimmy checks going out to whoever the fuck wants them.
Yeah,
You know, people are being paid to not work. It's more lucrative to not work in the USA. Like if you have like, you know, let's say you're a college student and you can get a job down at Wendy's, you make more money by not working and collecting steamy checks
yeah.
than you do working. So why would you work?
Even that was true here at a point.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
that's
With
kind of
like
a,
what do you call it, job seeker, job keeper.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's bad because we'll get into economics. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, let's go.
Because you can't just throw money into a system and expect it to. Like it's the old adage, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't just
yeah.
throw it
But
into
it
a
low-key
system.
does though,
It grows
because
into.
it's fucking imaginary.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you play, I saw this meme and it was like, what happens in Monopoly when the bank loses money? It's like, no, the bank doesn't lose money. It
Mm.
doesn't happen, sorry. You get another piece of paper and write down like effectively IOU until
Yeah.
the bank, until it can be like thingo. And
Exactly.
effectively, as a like population, that's what we're in right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Like we're just writing IOUs, stimmy checks, IOU, IOU,
That is
IOU.
100%.
And then where does that come? Like, does that obviously would cause like crash, like
Yeah. Okay.
eventually, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's slow. So macroeconomic things,
Mm.
that never like, they print off, 40% of the total money supply in America as they have, and everything crashes all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's not how it works necessarily.
Yeah.
It's a slow kind of tumble down.
Okay.
So if you print off, so basically the whole point of money is obviously supply and demand. Everyone's heard about that.
Yep.
If we take a practical example, diamonds are worth a fair amount of money.
Oh, it's another scam.
Yeah, the won't get into that.
Yeah.
But diamonds are worth so much because they're so rare. Right?
Yeah.
Now, whether
Rare.
that's because they're hiding vast reserves,
Yeah.
who knows? But they're expensive because there's very few, there's low supply.
Yeah.
But everyone wants a diamond.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want a diamond.
Yeah.
For reasons.
Reasons. Yeah.
Exactly. If you look at like wood, like trees,
Yeah.
they're fucking everywhere. You know what I mean?
Aren't they the same
Wood-
fucking element? Just
Basically, yeah,
carbon.
it's just carbon. Just one's like really pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But trees, you can get a fucking big thing of wood for your fireplace from 7-Eleven for like $20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's because there's heaps of trees, right? So
Yeah.
you have stacks of trees, the value per tree diminishes. And
Got
that's
it.
what money is, just
Yeah.
a unit of value.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you take diamonds, because they're so fueled, the value of diamonds goes up because they're so fueled and everyone wants them. So
Mm.
they're bartering for higher prices and whoever's selling diamonds wants the highest price. If you take money itself and you pump or print a shit ton of cash
Mm.
into the economy, you basically devalue the value per dollar.
Yeah.
If we take the US.
So that's inflation, pretty much.
That's inflation.
Yeah.
It is a hidden tax. Now, a lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah.
If you have 10,000 USD, United States dollars, in the bank at your Wells Fargo or whatever, and the government prints off 40% of all money that has ever existed in a year, what that does is devalue the value of your $10,000, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people just look at the 10,000 and they're like, they don't touch it, don't put anything in, don't take anything
Yeah.
out. They're like, well, nothing's lost.
Yeah.
$10,000, that's fine.
Which is true when you look
Which
at
is
it like
true.
that.
In nominal terms, you have $10,000,
Yeah.
right? The problem is that the prices of things
You can buy less shit.
go up.
Yeah.
So the purchasing power of your money goes down
Yeah.
because the prices of things go up, and that's just simple apples and oranges. right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The price of shit goes up, and the money you have stays the same.
Mm.
You have less money.
Yeah. So what are you
buy less
doing
goods
in order to like navigate?
to get around it?
Yeah.
Kind of looking into gold, crypto, just investments.
Yeah.
in
Gold for sure.
general. Gold's being the traditional one.
Mm.
I would say that if you don't know anything about investing or anything like that, probably a good time to buy gold right now because it's bad in the US inflation.
Yeah.
It's not as bad here, but it's getting pretty bad.
Same shit, bro.
Exactly. But the US really fucked up. We
Yeah.
kind of not too bad. So I'd say gold, silver, that's been the traditional hedge.
Mm.
Not hard to buy, just set up an account, fund your account, buy gold or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that goes up in price. usually.
Oh nah, fuck that. Nah, fuck you.
What?
What do you mean? Buy gold, like set up an account.
Buy like a brokerage account.
Bro, you're not gonna trade gold. What the fuck? Buy actual gold.
You can get actual gold from it.
The fucking gold store, mate.
Get a cash converter.
No, go to the mine.
Fucking one.
Nah, surely not. I would never do that.
What?
Buy like the gold stocks.
You mean like no? You buy actual.
Obviously, I'm coming from like an uneducated position.
Yeah.
But like, I have gold. But,
Yeah.
but I would never buy gold.
We're talking physical gold.
Physical gold, yeah.
Bars of gold.
Yeah, like yeah, not a big, not that. Like, don't come.
Like
bro.
orbits of gold.
I got a safe and like a shotgun, so it's like,
That's really good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it's easy just to buy it on an exchange because that's when exchange.
Yeah, but that's
happens.
not. You don't have it. It's the same thing as having money, bro.
You have the rights to it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
You don't have it like stored under your bed. Sure.
yeah. Well, maybe I'm just like a bit like
Yeah. Just
schizo.
hold up.
Yeah. No, I'm just like I don't have any trust in like.
In the brokerages.
Yeah.
They're all regulated, so you can't.
Yeah.
They don't lose it.
Oh,
Sure.
regulated. Everything's regulated, mate. Just believe in the system.
Yeah, I mean, like parts of the system are more corrupt than other
Yeah.
parts. of
Yeah.
the
This is
system.
true. Yeah. We
Yeah.
can't be overly skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be some. I mean, like, it's
Yeah.
very skeptical to have it in Australian dollars because they're just printing money.
Yeah.
It's devaluing the Australian dollars.
Yeah.
So again, that's a risk-benefit analysis. Like, where are you gonna put your money?
Mm.
Gold or keep it in fiat currency?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who do you trust more? So that's a problem.
That is the big question, isn't it?
And inflation's really bad because no one understands. You know what I mean? Like if the government, as they do, spend very poorly, and they spend on boxes of medicine that no one wants, and other things, right? Because they're spending with your tax dollars, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole point of an economy, all an economy is people doing things.
Yeah.
Right? That's the real economy.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, there is no economy.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, yeah.
It is.
It's almost like when you put it like that, it's like it makes money seem like this thing that's just like a fucking parasite. That's just like taxed to people and what they want to do.
I think money itself isn't a parasite. You'd love it if you go like really deep down.
Yeah, probably.
It's not artificial at all. It's all
all
natural.
the idea, like the original idea of it, is not artificial. But what it's become right now,
Foundational. Yeah, like the way they manipulate it is not artificial.
it's like America. The founding fathers are pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's
yeah.
a bit of a degen state, man.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. It's it's.
Mm.
Don't even start with America. That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Mm.
They're heading towards some tough times. I'll tell you that.
You reckon?
Yeah, big time. Inflation there's just started. They've seen the average grocery shop go up by 40%. So like you go, which doesn't sound much if you get, let's say, $10 worth of Powerade and donuts.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It goes up to $14. Whatever.
Mm.
But if you go and spend $200 and that goes up by $80,
Mm.
and you're like, that's big on the family,
Oh yeah.
especially middle class families.
Yeah.
So that's a major problem. It's going to get worse still.
Mm.
And if the economy collapses, shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Because, we talk very loosely about money in one day and age. We say money's the root of all evil.
Yeah. Well, I've just been trying to detach from it, really. Like
I
the
agree.
attachment to money.
I agree. But
Yeah.
I've never cared about money ever. Just
Mm.
enough to kind of survive and do things.
Mm.
But the older I get, the more I realise that it's not really evil.
No.
It's
no.
not bad.
No.
It's really quite natural.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not joined to any system or ideology or anything like that. It's the way the government messes with it.
Yeah.
So going
Well,
back
not
to-
even the government, just like the banking system.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like people that, because bro, there's whole fucking, as you know, there's people that create shit and get paid for it, and then there's the cunts on the side who just move money around smartly and end up with some in their back pocket.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But even investing has its purpose.
Yeah.
It's
But
crazy.
I'm not talking about investing. I'm talking about like the bankers, man.
Bankers, but
Yeah.
there's kind of investing and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No, it's like loan.
Loans, yeah.
Yeah.
Like loans are also needed. It's kind of the problem with, let's say, 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
The reason it made things worse, let's say, is because the government really is the problem. Because the government bailed out the banks.
Frick the government.
The government should have just been like, let him die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the bank lent out too much money in the subprime mortgages, that's a whole story, but let's just keep it simple.
Yeah.
And they overexposed themselves, and the whole thing crumbled for their bank.
Yeah.
As it happened in what was it called?
Venezuela.
Lehman Brothers. Yeah, that's hyperinflation.
Yeah.
Lehman Brothers collapsed, right?
Yeah.
A couple other banks were going to collapse.
Yeah.
But if you have all those banks collapse, not only do the people get hurt, the people would have been fucking decimated.
Yeah.
That needed to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you let that happen, like you can't do it without that. It's
Yes.
yin yang
Yes.
all over again.
Yes.
If you just keep pumping money into the system, just keep it good, it doesn't make the bad go away.
Mm.
Debt just piles
Prolongs.
up.
Yeah,
And
prolongs.
it has to be paid at a certain point.
Yeah.
And multiple banks would have collapsed. You could say the entire economy would have collapsed. But I feel like that would have been, yes, more painful,
Mm.
but necessary.
Mm.
Because people would have learned their lesson in whatever small degree that people learn their lessons.
Yeah, it's always the biggest like what we were talking about before, the parent thing.
Mm.
It's always the
Totally.
biggest like, do I let him fuck up
Mm.
and learn, or do I try and fix it myself?
Mm. I think that's what governments always take the stance of
Yeah.
intervening to
Yeah.
try to fix
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
And I'm not sure they always succeed in that.
Mm. For sure. I was talking about it like in the frame of the medicine as well. Like, are you gonna sit around and complain about it, like the spoiled children, like how the people are spoiled children, and the government's just like kind of toxic parent?
Yeah.
Are you gonna sit around and, because at the end of the day, we're in the same, like we're under their roof effectively. So we're gonna like protest and like, I don't want the whatever, I don't want this, I don't want that, and just like even though you know that things aren't going that way as of right now, are you gonna stick around and just like cry about it, or are you gonna leave the parents' house,
Exactly.
build your own thing
Mm.
as best you can, and then come and have a discussion about it?
Mm.
And that's like something like one of my things that I want to do in my life is leave, make like something self-sufficient,
Yep.
community level type shit,
Yeah.
and then we can talk. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
now I have something to go. Now I have leverage,
Mm.
and that's
So,
effectively what.
free yourself from the graft. Kind of.
Yeah. Well, it's not even. And people, there's always the naysayers are like, oh, you can never run away, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's not running away.
It's
It's going to the gym and strengthening yourself, so that when the next time you have to fight some fucking Mike Tyson cunt, you're there with him. You know.
yeah. I'm all for that.
Mm.
I'm all for that.
Mm.
I think if you do you mean like leaving per se Australia? 'Cause I'm
I don't.
Australia.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to manifest itself, but
Because you could go full con
yeah.
in the middle of
I think it's difficult to do it in Australia. I'll put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So the way in which this country has been set up,
Mm.
it's pretty.
We also just don't have land.
Oh,
Like, it's like
there's a fuck ton of land,
it's
bro.
a bit of trees around this desert.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, with all
Yeah.
those trees that kind of populated all us, you
Yeah.
could definitely clear it out.
You
Just
could,
with
yeah.
that,
There'd be ways, but yeah, the way this country's been set up is not very. It's not like America. It's not with a freedom at its core.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, if you wanted to do something like that, it wouldn't probably be here.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm not placing any limitations on what could happen and what couldn't.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree with you.
yeah.
I'm looking to leave Australia in general for multiple reasons. Number one,
Yeah.
it's just too much regulation.
But at the same time, I'm like, I get like quite spiritual in it, where it's like I'm here for a reason, you know. I incarnated here, if you want to put it like that,
Yep.
for a reason, because I have the opportunity to do something to help people around me,
It's what it is.
you know. Yeah. So it's like I'm gonna spend my time here the best as I can, and eventually, I think right now is that there will be a moment where I'll be like, I have the wherewithal and the means to be like,
Yep.
go.
Yep.
And I'll take my whole clan with me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
When
put
you
the city
start
on my
a new
back.
clan, wherever you go,
Huh?
you probably start a new clan. wherever
Yeah,
you
I
go.
know, yeah. But
People will be attracted by it.
yeah.
People are attracted by it. I think people are ready for that. They can't get
Mm,
Australia,
mm,
as you said.
mm.
Australia's very much.
And also you can't do it by yourself, so
It's
yeah.
I would agree.
That's like what was I watching? That's like someone was trying to do something by themselves all the time.
Is it like start beating the others?
It was the same. It was the same thing as Revolver, like the ego dissolution. It was the same in the same story. Oh, it's Tony Stark. It was Iron Man. In Iron Man 2, he just fucking wants to do everything by himself, and he goes through the same thing, and he's dying because he has that thing in his chest. And what does he do? He goes back to his past. He's
Yep.
like with his dad and all that shit,
Yep.
and he figures out
It's
I
like that
need
shack in the
other
middle.
people
Yep.
because he's somebody hyper intelligent. His whole life, he'll be like, "Fuck you, I'll do it myself,"
Yeah.
and he succeeds.
He's done it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and that's like, yeah, Elon Musk,
Mhm.
fucking Zuckerberg, yeah, all these people that have always been able to look in the mirror when they need some help,
Yeah.
and that's where psychic inflation can come in
Mm.
because it's like, bro,
And
yeah. One of my friends told me about psychic inflation. I haven't really sussed it yet, but he said it's from Crime and Punishment, like the idea of Dostoevsky, yeah, because like it's at what point do you justify a good end to negative means? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
doing something bad in the
Short-term rental.
yeah to create a better world, but it's only in your head, this world
Yep.
that you're thinking of. So
Yep.
it's like, and then like that whole illusion comes crumbling down one day,
Yeah.
and you either like your Van Gogh, you like cut your ear off, or like or you know
That's a dangerous one.
yeah.
'Cause
Fuck.
some people go deep down there and they
Yeah, bro, I legit reckon like doing the like the ego death type shit that I went through was like that because I was associating too heavily with the hero archetype,
Yeah.
and like when I had this discussion, it was very like with my friend, it was very transformative because I was like, fuck, I've been doing this. I've been trying too hard to be like a woke cunt on YouTube, or like trying to convince other people, or to trying too hard to be this, to like be the savior, or like the Jesus, not Jesus, but like the hero archetype.
Yep.
Like I need to be normal as well, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like Because I feel like, and it is an ego thing, like feeling like you're a big fish in a small pond. Yeah. So it's like, that was a huge, like, revelation. And it saved me because my mind was going skits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah.
It's tough because I think humans, especially in this modern day culture, we are. Like I know a couple of people who have completely burnt themselves out because all they've done is just work.
Yeah.
They can kind of feel themselves like collapsing,
Yeah.
and they just go, "Well, I just need more work." You know,
Yeah,
they just push
yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
And they keep pushing. And whether they say it or not, everyone has that mindset where they're like, "I am worthy of this. I can do it." Kind of thing.
Oh, do you reckon everyone has that?
I reckon everyone has it. I don't reckon they can articulate it half the time.
Yeah, it's suppressed.
I reckon some of them know that they have.
Yeah.
But I reckon it's there.
Ah, got you. Yeah, no, yeah.
Subconscious.
It really does have to be though, yeah. 'Cause otherwise you wouldn't be able to achieve anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's needed.
Yeah.
But I think it's like anything, when it's left to run amok, it causes problems.
Yeah, yeah.
I think in your case, because I think you're an extrovert, from what
I'd say, yeah. I have,
introvert tendencies.
yeah, but I'm majoritively extroverted, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. They kind of process it in the sense of, like they think they need to like go and reach this ideal, and then like they know it because they kind of bounce off reality in life,
Yeah,
and that's what we want.
yeah.
But with the
And then once you
introvert-
achieve it, then you'll be like happy.
yeah, well that's a major pitfall.
Yeah,
And as long as you know that and you know what you're doing, that's fine.
yeah,
You know what I mean? As long as you know that, yeah, once I reach it, it's not going to like make everything good.
yeah,
It's going to make things better.
yeah,
Then that's fine. There's
Yeah.
no problem.
for sure.
But a lot of people don't realise that. A lot of people just think, oh, I'm just going to hit gold
Yeah,
and then everything will be fine.
yeah.
That happens with people in academia. They think, oh, when I become a doctor, everything will be good.
Yes.
And they get there. And
Off
then
the
they're like,
off the mic, that was exactly the cunt that I was talking about. Bro, the guy that was like the hedonist, like because his
oh, that's
parents,
what he's doing.
he's trying to become a doctor, and
Is
he's
that
like,
his parents want to do?
yeah, that's because
Okay.
his parents are fucking fanging it out of him. But sorry, yeah, go.
Yeah, I can see why he's trying to be a hedonist then.
Yeah,
Because that's not who I bet $1 million.
he doesn't really want to do it. Yeah, yeah.
100%. He's doing it.
But he still will. He's very smart,
Yeah.
or he's very good at like digesting, and then
If he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to have his heart in it.
Yeah.
He's going to get to the
but he'll
end
still
of
do it. That's the thing,
it. He can do it.
and he
yeah.
will benefit, and he knows he will. But it's
In a-
all
in a
about
financial sense.
yeah.
Yeah, sure, but like, he's going to hate himself.
That's the
He's
thing.
going to hate life.
And I'm a fucking judgmental kind for saying it.
No, it's true though.
Ah.
Did he get angry? Was he like?
No, it's just like in a group setting, I said a couple things like in that vein of thought, and I was just, oh, you're a judgmental cunt. I'm like, bro, put the pipe down, G. Like,
Yeah, it's like the status isn't everything, and like being a doctor isn't everything. Kind of.
yeah.
So when my year went, I saw a lot of doctors, and
Oh yeah. So you're for context, you lost.
oh yeah,
You didn't have enough fucking sunlight.
I basically became, basically I didn't spread my leaves and photosynthesize with the sun.
Yeah.
And long story short, ear got infected, lost my hearing for 2 months.
Yeah.
Just not one
Because
side.
no vitamin D.
There's no vitamin D.
Yeah.
No vitamin D levels.
Yeah.
Massive inner ear infection, which is worse.
Yeah.
And saw a lot of doctors. And it used to be different. Doctors used to actually know what they were doing. Doctors used to know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And in this, every doctor I saw, apart from one, was a specialist. But I probably saw 6 others
Yeah.
that just had no idea
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah,
And you feel like they don't care. They're just like, yeah, you know, you're hearing mine, you might get back to my mum.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I'm like, okay, nice, not bad.
Mm.
And then I went and saw the specialist, and he was like, okay, you should check your vitamin D levels first and foremost.
Yeah.
Any injuries, any tinnitus, stuff like that. Went through the whole thing, hearing tests and stuff. But most doctors are just like, I want to get you in, I want to get my check, I want to get you out.
Mm. And psychologists.
And psychologists,
Yeah.
They just want to write,
Yeah.
as we were talking about before.
So how do you see like that being changed? Like, what is the
Well,
best?
that's the problem. It's like your mate, he's probably going to end up. Now, obviously, I don't know. Can't.
Yeah. No, I'll confirm or deny based
but,
on my
yeah,
knowledge.
in 10 years,
Yeah.
or how far it is, how far through the course is.
Yeah.
But when you go and become a doctor and your heart's not in it, you're doing it for the prestige, you're doing it for the status, you're doing it for the money, you end up being one of those doctors
Mm.
who's just in it to be a doctor. I
Yeah.
don't see it as like, oh, I want to help you.
How many people? I reckon that's a higher number
The
than.
vast majority.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, that's fucked.
It
Yeah.
is. And it's a problem.
Yeah.
Because I said, right?
But at the same time, it's a massive motivator, and like, yeah,
Status as well.
yeah.
It is, but like, you're going to get that regardless.
And like, you'd rather. Oh, but see, like, the difference would be right. Teaching, doctor.
Yeah.
It's just how am I going to explain this in a way that like I can articulate? I can't think about it right now. But if teaching had the same amount of status, money thing as doctor, yeah,
Yeah.
and the teaching would be fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, right? Would you care about the education of the students at that point?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think 100%.
And I'd prefer teachers to be paid at a doctor level and doctors to be paid at a teacher level. You know,
It actually makes doctors better.
fucking oath it
They
would.
would be going for this like money and just get the
Yeah.
check and go home and buy like $14,000 worth of bullshit on COVID.
Yeah.
Just to fill the void.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's for the wrong reasons.
Oh boy.
It's for the wrong reasons, man.
Yeah.
You can't. If you're doing things for external motivations,
Yeah.
that's not the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
You've got to do things for internal motivations. I'm not studying psychology so I can collect a paycheck for just listening to someone rant.
Yeah.
I'm studying psychology because I think there's a problem in psychology.
Yeah.
I think there's a mental health
You're a mad cunt. Yeah.
epidemic.
Yeah.
And I've always told people it's
That's
not
some
about
higher
the money.
purpose shit.
Yeah, the money will be there. That's fine.
Yeah.
You're invested. It's not too hard to get a
To be
large
comfortable.
amount of that. As long as you just educate yourself. Don't take any courses online. There's somebody who wants to be done.
Yeah.
Educate yourself in life.
Yeah.
Be autodidactic just in all life.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn so much more. It's going to stick. If you
Mm.
go to uni for everything, you don't learn shit. My
Yeah.
psychology course, you learn anything.
Yeah.
You learn like, Broca's area. You
Yeah.
learn, like, okay.
You learned out the normal distribution.
Exactly. like the Pearson's correlation. Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to go tell my patients about fucking correlations.
Yeah.
Like, it's so.
It's foundational. But did you have to pay
Yes.
fucking $1,000,000 for it? Probably
yeah, you
not.
pay like 20 grand.
Yeah. I mean, like to know it, you probably didn't. But just to have the thing that says you know it.
You could.
That's what you're paying for.
Moss goes into this. He's like, you could
Yeah.
learn the whole fucking thing for $7.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah,
Yeah.
and like internet costs or whatever.
Yeah.
Or at the library, you don't need a university course.
Yeah.
The only reason you need the course is to get that piece of paper again, so that you're qualified.
Accredited. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can go and get the job. It's, The whole system's
Yeah.
completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Mm.
Doctors
Can't
as we're
change.
talking about, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you can't change it. Hopefully.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One man can't change it, but hopefully we'll kind of figure it out.
We will. We sure will. It'll
Um,
go to like more like a holistic thing, I think, approach.
I think after this whole pandemic,
Yeah.
doctors, for instance, probably aren't going to be as highly paid as they are now.
You reckon?
I reckon that the trust in the healthcare system
Whoa.
is going to dissolve.
For me, it has, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but
Fucking wouldn't touch a medical clinic with a 10-foot pole, bro.
Yeah, most people are like, when I went for my year, this is probably the average person, when I went for my year, there was a mother, father, and daughter.
Mm.
And
When you went for your ear infection?
yeah, to get it checked up.
Yeah.
It was a 20-minute checkup, cost me $220.
Mm.
It's more than $10 a minute. That's some good cash.
Yeah.
And not only was I not told how much money it was going to be, because it's just this general assumption that people care so much about health. They're so scared of death.
Yeah.
The average person is such a hypochondriac
Yeah.
that they don't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
They just fork it out.
Yeah,
They don't
bro.
give a shit. They're just like, I'm terrified of death.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any research. The doctors know. I'm going to just give you all the cows and mountains and whatever happens, happens.
I'll flip you for it. Like revolver.
It's,
I'll toss you for it.
it's just fucked.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the base, it's just fear. It's fear and ignorance.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like with the validation thing, that's something that my mum was talking to me about. She found my YouTube channel like last week.
yeah.
I made a video on like NoFap, and she was
Well,
like,
so,
anyway, yeah, she was like, you're basically like going out in the public naked, like just saying all this shit. And I was like, and then she was like, yeah, also you're doing all this for validation. And I was like, yes, but also no. Like, I see. She's like,
yeah.
she just really seeded that planted that seed of doubt in my head. And I was like, fuck, am I?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I like to think I don't, but it is a bit of a psychological thing that plays on you.
Yeah, I can't tell you what
Yeah.
the motivations are.
Yeah. I mean, there definitely, like, there is some there's parts of me inside of me that loves the validation,
Yeah.
but it's just like keeping that under control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's a natural part.
And like if I really, like my train of thought is if I really, or if anybody who produces things really cared about the validation, they would be following the thing that gets them the most validation in the quickest amount of time at that point. So like TikToking, all that bullshit, yeah. So I feel like that's not what a lot of my stuff is.
Yeah.
But it is a massive thing, and it goes back to like just everything really. Like
Art.
yeah, well just like the validation is just another facet of that fear that you're talking about. And like how it's like a control narrative of you're running away from things all the time.
Yeah.
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 How did you like come to terms with a fear of death? Because I feel like even in like ancient traditions, and like I can't think of like an actual one, so I'm going to use Batman as an example.
Fair enough.
Like you know when in Batman Begins, when he goes in the arena in fucking Tibet,
Yeah.
and they make him smoke the flower, which is like effectively like DMT, to come to terms with death. This is what happens when you die, or like you get the like the. How did you kind of grapple with that, or do you reckon you just always had that kind of thing of like?
No, I remember being like 14 years old, and I think everyone, I imagine everyone goes through this. It's like when you first realise, you first grapple with the concept of death.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I have this amount of time,
Yep.
and then it's nothingness.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that's like, they'll just be like this floating head in this infinite darkness forever. You know what I mean? It's like that.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people back to religion, follow religion for the fact that they think, okay, there's this life and then there's the next life.
Yeah.
If I'm good in this life. Now, whether Jesus was a little bit coercive, Victorian government, and you know, he kind of like pushed people towards being good,
Yeah.
so they go to heaven.
Yeah.
You know, you can make a pretty valid argument towards that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people believe in religion for whatever reason, because they think it's just going to give them the afterlife.
Yeah.
So it's fear of
By
God.
default. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that. A lot of the kind of more industrious, by the book people need to believe that.
Conscientious as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They've gone from big five and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You can believe that. I don't think that's the case. I think that we have this one thin, fleeting slice of consciousness in the universe's eternal history, and then that's it. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think that.
You don't think that?
No, I don't think that.
Afterlife?
No, I think I actually I don't know. I don't think like crystallized thought like anything right now, like nothing in stone. But I think that there's levels to this shit, and I think that reincarnation is something that could be potentially like in terms of you house like this meat suit houses something that is me, that is my essence, and like this thing that I call my body now isn't me. So like I'm in this thing, and this is me in this life as Frank, but then whatever's in here that doesn't go by that name comes out when I die
It's just kind of like a soul
and goes back into like something else. Or like, have you ever seen Rick and Morty?
Only a couple of episodes.
There's like this one where they go to the arcade and then he plays this game called Roy, and it's effectively just like life itself.
Okay.
Like you play a game and you live a life of a guy called Roy, and you fucking the more outlandish and outrageous shit you do, the more I don't know, like Morty plays it and he just like has a normal life and like does the normal thing. But then Rick plays it and he's like, oh shit, he's taking Roy off the grid, oh he's getting a high score, like type shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like that's what I believe. It's just like we're putting
That consciousness gets given to you in this body.
yeah.
And when you
Well,
die,
I think we're all multi-dimensional beings, and we have different levels to us on like a higher plane that we are at the same. It's like we're in the same place, just in different levels.
We're talking kind of like level.
Like I'll give you another
Spiritual.
example. Yeah, it's hard for me to like talk about it. So yeah, because obviously I don't know, one, and two, this is like just like kind of just I don't know. It's fun to think about.
Yeah.
But have you seen Spirited Away?
A long time ago.
Yeah, you know how he has the chick, the protagonist.
Yeah.
She has that guy who turns into the dragon. It's like
Yeah.
Kishiro or some shit.
Yeah.
I feel like that is an example of because she goes to the spirit realm. She's in the same place, but in a different dimension, in a different realm. And the version of herself
Yeah.
in that realm is the guy, the dragon person, and that's just her on a different plane, or at least it's like a higher self connected to a version of like they just, you know what I mean? I don't know, like
We're talking like a kind of symbolic persona.
yeah, but just like an essential you that goes in many different containers and boxes of like bodies. And I guess that's like Buddhist type shit.
To me,
But they say you can like reincarnate into a rock or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
okay, yeah, I see where you come from.
Yeah.
Like it's more like there's this one consciousness, and that pervades everything.
Yeah, because well, just the way you think about it is, at the very, very top will be like unity consciousness, the realization that everything really is one. Like when we are talking right now, it's just a version of myself talking to a different version. That's some Alan Watts shit as well.
Instead of the universe talking
Yeah,
to the universe.
right. So it's just the universe experiencing itself through all these different, like, fragmentations of its own consciousness in order to learn.
Yeah.
But like to learn what, I don't know, because that's like that gets into some cook shit, like some are we in a simulation shit, like some robot, like we're just a computer shit,
Yeah, yeah.
like a quantum computer.
Yeah, yeah. I see where you come from.
Mm.
You could see like humans are. So let's say Earth.
Mm.
You could say like each human is a cell for this one organism on
Yep.
the Earth.
Beautiful.
And I think you can make a pretty valid point there because you have different cells. You have
Mm.
the mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. You also have like T cells,
Yep.
killer T cells.
Golgi body, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah, the nucleus. Yeah.
Nucleus and all that.
Ribosomes, all that
Exactly,
shit.
Yep. And all these cells do different things. Macrophages, most are immune system cells, but like liver cells, shit like that. And they all do different things. And
But they all differentiate from like the same thing, yeah.
yeah, like it's kind of like ants and colony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the same
yeah,
thing, but different.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how deep you got into MBTI theory and all that. Like the whole like ENFP.
Oh yeah,
INTP.
personality, yeah.
There's some good evidence that that isn't just a theory anymore. There's a guy, Dario Nadi,
Mm.
I'm sure you can link it in the description
Yeah,
below.
yeah.
And he goes into EEG scans of people who have tested certain personality types.
Brainwaves?
Yeah.
Fucking
And
hell. Yeah, definitely
studies-
subscribe, definitely, yeah.
Studies. He's got I think it's a 1 hour, 15-minute video. And he
Mm.
goes into how different personality types have different parts of their brain that are firing more often than the other parts.
I guarantee that's a fact because I've read about it before. Like obviously not in a fact-based thing, but that there's technology that exists now that they use on children and they can identify personality types just based off this machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I don't know if it's confirmed or not. It's like some CIA declassified shit.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time to this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's the future of psychology, by the way.
I think people, and this is the problem as well with kind of the academic side and the non-academic side.
Mm.
The academic side you don't hear about MBTI at all.
Yeah. Why?
You don't hear about Carl Jung at all in academia
Yeah.
because he didn't strictly follow the quote-unquote scientific method,
Status quo. Yeah.
the status quo.
Yeah.
Freud,
But like, bro, name one genius that isn't crazy. You
Exactly.
know? Name one pioneer that didn't break the rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein had to push his theory of relativity for 7 years
Yeah.
before it was accepted.
Yeah.
It was dumb. It was
Yeah.
written. He just was like showing it to people that like,
Yeah.
yeah, this crack.
Yeah.
Now it's just accepted as fact.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how true it
yeah.
always is.
Yeah.
Freud was a weird one because Freud has some pretty crackpot theories.
yeah.
Freud would accept it. So I don't know what strings he was pulling.
Yeah.
But kudos to him.
Shouts out to Freud.
Shout out to Freud and Oedipus. But Jung went, in my mind, Jung was the psychologist.
Yeah.
He went deeper than
Like the
anyone.
father.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that modern psychology doesn't, of course there are like Jungians that study that, but the fact that like modern academic psychology doesn't give him any credence whatsoever,
Mm.
I think is a major flaw, like huge.
Mm.
Because he was,
Is there a reason, or is it just because people are squares, or like?
I mean, for whatever reason, maybe it is just people squares, maybe he, in the same way you can maybe, why they banned psychiatric drugs.
Yeah,
Exactly,
psychedelics.
when they actually help people with mental disorders.
Yeah.
Why? Because they can see through the veil when
Yeah.
they take it.
Yeah.
You can go through that. And there
Yeah,
was
but
studies
like, bro,
where-
there's like seeing through the veil, and then there's like looking directly into the sun.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like how much of those glasses do you want to take off to look
Yeah.
into the sun?
I think a lot of people A lot of people need psychedelics because they just can't do it themselves.
Yeah.
People like you and me have a certain level of kind of pre-cookedness.
Yeah.
We kind of know.
It's like almost like high openness.
Yeah.
High. I don't know.
Intuitive,
Yeah.
something like
It's something. I don't know what it is. I can't.
It's something that is definitely different to most people.
Yeah.
Not like in the elitist or something.
Yeah.
Just in like a literal,
Yeah.
brain's a different kind of.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of predisposes us to understanding this even before we've
Attempting to understand, because I don't know shit, bro. I'm a monkey.
Yeah.
I'm a monkey in a human suit, bro.
There's so much shit going on.
Yeah.
And that's good because you always think you know everything
Nah.
most of the time, like when you're growing up.
Oh yeah.
And then you fucking like grow up a couple more years, a couple more decades, and you're like, oh, fuck, it's fucking more.
Yeah.
Like,
Or purely based on the fact that you change so much.
exactly.
Like I've changed like heaps in like a 2-year period.
That's a good thing.
Like especially like it is a fucking like the stage I'm at in my life is very like this period is very change ridden.
Yeah.
But like it is quite like dramatic.
Tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of necessarily has to be.
Mm.
Because you're going the complete opposite direction to most people.
Mm.
Most people go get a good ATAR,
Mm.
it doesn't matter what a year after school.
Mm.
I won't tell you about
Mm.
that. They go to university, get a degree, get a good paying job,
Mm.
pay taxes for the rest of their life, go get married,
Mm.
and post photos on Facebook. It's just cookie cutter life.
Mm.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's beautiful.
It is. It's
We
probably
need
fine.
it.
And yeah, that's the kind of fabric of society, I'd say. But that's one way of living.
Mm.
And I feel like that way is pushed on to everyone. It's the
Mm.
general consensus.
Yeah.
In your case, I think it's the complete opposite. And that's good.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you ever saw the other ones on that. But you were saying like, you know, we look at ourselves and we go, well, we're the far out people, and they're the far in people.
Mm.
But
The
you can take a
esoteric
moment
and the
to
exoteric.
twist it.
Is it the esoteric and the exoteric? Or is that something different?
I think that's pretty,
Yeah.
exactly the same
Yeah.
thing.
Twist it.
Exactly. It's like you have this kind of sublime knowledge and the sublime
Mm.
spiritual stuff, then more concrete stuff.
Yeah.
And it's general consensus that the concrete stuff is far in, and all the hippie stuff and all that's far out.
Yeah. Got you.
That kind of subculture, counterculture.
Yeah.
But if you flip it, it actually makes a whole lot of sense. You
As in-
start to understand that the hippies and people who kind of like care about spiritual stuff
Yeah.
actually get closer to like fundamental truth
Yeah.
than people who just go to work
Yeah.
and
Well, that's-
go to uni.
Yeah.
And you see that in like a competent sense
Yeah.
with psychology, with everything really these days. Because modern psychology sucks. Just it isn't good. It's not doing the job. It's not actually making it better. Whereas back in Wednesday and stuff, shit actually worked.
Yeah.
Because they didn't just go to the manual, go through the manual. It was a much more fluid, dynamic way of doing it.
Mm.
They don't have it these days. They're too rigid.
Yeah. And that's obviously why the like people talk about it a lot, but like the hippie movement was kind of like, well, it's almost like there was a psychedelic evolution that was going to occur, and then it was circumvented by the introduction of like all the coke. What do they do? Like ice?
Stimulants and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Just like the nasties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Because that
Crack.
stuff isn't really. That's not what I'm talking about. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't change your mind or your perception.
No,
That's just
by no means.
energy, artificial energy.
Yeah.
So, or crank up the dope.
Go juice.
Yeah.
Which is alright.
Which is good, yeah, it's got its
Yeah,
place. But
yeah.
in terms of,
If I was president or some shit, I'd ban it.
yeah, 100%. I'd be
Mm.
like, when you reach the age of 25, when your brain quote unquote stops developing,
Mm.
that's the physical sense there,
Mm.
then you gotta have an acid trip. Kind of.
Really?
Or a couple of capsule options, yeah.
Bro, so that's the thing. All these things I was like the Batman thing I was talking about. A lot of these, I don't know what to call them. Like schools of thought. Like a lot of, especially in the Eastern traditions, like the Tibetan, like all of that type of stuff. They did a lot of that, and it didn't necessarily have to come in the form of a drug. It could be like the Aboriginals would scab up, like they would cut their like as a means of like you're a man now, like you've gone through fuck tons of pain, but there would also a lot of the times be that ayahuasca, peyote, all of that type of stuff to like bring you as like to atone you sort of, and like yeah,
I,
that it would be incredibly interesting to see if that was made a rite of passage in our society, how different things would look.
yeah, I think things would be a lot better. I think
Harder to control, harder to profit off,
harder to control.
and that's why they don't do it right now.
I mean,
But it would be better objectively.
I don't even feel like it'd be harder to profit off. I just feel like
As in, you can't profit off. You wouldn't be able to mandate a medicine like you
No,
would be able to do
no.
today,
no chance, no
Yeah.
chance.
because people just think,
People would get it.
Yeah.
They'd figure it out.
yeah,
I think there's something like 350 Australian citizens to every one Australian police officer. People don't realise that. I'm not saying go like, get 349 of your buddies and just
storm the brigade, man.
don't do that.
I mean, hypothetically, now that you bring it up,
Hypothetically, yeah.
it'd be
but I'm saying
possible.
People forget that the power is in
The people,
and
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very communist.
Yeah, no, it sounds like almost cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
The
true,
power
man.
of people got fists and stuff.
Yeah,
But it's true. Like,
yeah.
these are just numbers.
Yeah,
And people don't realise that their voice,
Matters.
if they woke up, to use a bit of an adage, and
Yeah.
done together, like coalesced,
yeah.
and stood up to these stupid laws or whatever.
Not even these laws, just what you believe in,
Exactly.
or like what the collective decides is what they believe in.
Because you can't just like get a fucking prime minister or a president in for 4-year terms. That's a long time. 4
Mm.
years. You get them in because they say they're going to do A, B, and C.
AY and
A, Y,
H.
A, Y, yeah, like Zeta.
yeah,
And then
Delta.
yeah. And, you're bringing it back now.
No. Sorry. Yeah, no,
You
fucking.
get them in for a 4-year term.
Yeah.
And then they say these things, and then they maybe do it for the first 6 months. But then they've just got free reign.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
voted them in.
yeah,
They can now do like anything they want. You see that change, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden.
That's why the
before he was
movie.
elected,
Yeah, sorry, go.
was like he didn't seem too bad. He seemed alright, whatever.
Yeah,
And he got elected. Now America's falling apart.
yeah.
When Donald Trump was elected, I was like, this is it. America's fucked.
Yeah.
And it was, sure, it's not perfect, but in terms of like pure competency, it ran moderately well. It worked.
If I was an American, I wouldn't vote, but if actually, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to fucking say that.
As in, like, whatever.
He's a lesser of two evils.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you got to go with when it's a two-party system.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just gotta pick like who.
Well, it's what your it's not necessarily that's not necessarily the truth, but that's what a lot of people think is the truth. Yeah.
And like beliefs come into it, like some
Yeah.
maybe go for the lesser of two evils. Well, it's lesser of two evils as far as you're concerned.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, as far as actual like the reality is concerned,
Mm.
like just because it's technically not true doesn't mean it will be like
Yeah. exactly.
Um,
yeah, it also depends on like your political beliefs and stuff.
Yeah,
A lot of people would vote for Joe Biden just because they just think that they're associated with the political left, and that's like the camp they put themselves in.
Yeah, it's all where you put yourself, really. Yeah.
It's all your beliefs and
And
stuff.
who you, but all right, this is interesting. This makes me think of like me as a person, right? And my reluctance, because that's also another thing I had to deal with in the last couple of weeks. My reluctance to be, like, I feel weird if I'm not unique. Like if I'm a part of, and I feel like I had to kill that part of myself. That's attached to the ego, that thing, and it's just like, I just had this encounter with one of my mates, and I was like, fuck, I'm like really similar to you, bro. And I'm just like, I don't know what the word is, like, there's a discomfort there for some reason. Like, just being, like, the same, or, like, having
Yeah.
similar, but, like, putting
Oh.
myself in that, yeah.
Like it was
Because I, like,
just-
always used to pride myself about being, like,
Yeah.
different, you know?
Yeah. As in, like, you met him and you were like.
Well, like, we've always been very close, and we just are very similar people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of people like that, bro.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just, like, sometimes, like, scared of that.
Yeah,
Fuck.
a lot of people want
It's
that.
identity, right?
Yeah, a lot of people want that. A lot of people go like,
Yeah.
I want a person who is as cookie cutter as me,
Yeah.
because then I feel less alone in the universe.
Yeah.
I think as in general.
But I feel like that as well. I don't want to be alone, bro. But like, I
Yeah.
just have this like the opposite. You know what I mean? Like fear of both things.
You can't find me.
Yeah, I know.
That's good though, I'll keep you in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, I guess then. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had that thought a while back. Like, you can talk to most people. Most people think that every single other human has a brain that works like them, and if the brain doesn't work like them, which it doesn't,
Inherently
it's
bad.
different.
Yeah.
It's like 16 umbrella types of humans, let's say, and many variations beneath that. You got like, how you brought up, political ideologies,
Yep.
and people think, because loneliness is like its own epidemic. these days. A lot of people are very lonely. And I think to manage that, the average human just defaults into every single other human has a brain exactly like mine. If they don't, that makes me angry.
Ah, so toxic, bro.
Because that, I think it's, I don't think it's even like, yeah, it doesn't do good, but it also, it's not like they're trying to break shit. They just don't, they can't
Yeah,
accept.
it's a flawed
It's
way
like,
of thinking.
Yeah, it's like a moral failure.
Yeah.
They can't accept that
Oh, yeah.
the people are different.
Yeah.
And they're all homogenized. And when people homogenize, it's like groupthink and stuff.
Yeah.
And, then back into the medicine.
No.
And, but in terms of your case, I think
Yeah.
it's 100%. It's
Yeah.
legit. I mean,
Yeah.
you should celebrate when you meet someone similar to you because the chances
Yeah,
of
well-
it actually happen
Yeah.
are very slim.
Yeah.
And even if someone is very similar to you, they're never going to beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the
That's
fear.
awesome.
It's like that. No, but the fear for me is like I'm slow. Like you know when you subconsciously copy someone's mannerisms
Yeah.
and you're like, fucking hell, what is going on here? Like,
Becoming
yeah. It's like in the Matrix when Mr. Smith goes and they just do, and they turn into another Mr. Smith. I'm like my identity. Yeah.
No, that's a legit thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
No, isn't imposter syndrome when you don't think you're good
Like,
enough?
You're not good enough. Yeah.
For like,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
which I would
Yeah,
get as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
100%.
But it is definitely one of those things that ends in syndrome. Like it would
yeah,
be
it's
one
sort
of
of like a,
yeah.
it's a bit of
Some phenomenon,
Anxiety.
some psychological
Yeah.
phenomenon. Yeah,
self-worth and stuff.
yeah,
It's a good point. I mean, like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say that because going back to like Jung's theory about everything, he had this whole, you have a counter type, right? It's like your, I think, ENFJ, whatever that is.
yeah. I think I did it, and I'll be. It's definitely ENF.
Yeah.
I did it yonks ago, but at the end of I think it was ENFJ.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
And
but it's changed. That's the thing.
it's
It's
changed
changed.
since.
I did it in like year 12,
Yeah.
and I did it like the other day because we were talking about
Yeah.
it with Tom. I was talking about it with Thomas, and yeah, it changed from then to now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You'll be careful about that. You're going to make sure, like, the best thing is to look into the descriptions. That's
Yeah.
the story.
But even then, I fucking don't want to be put in a box of that.
That is, yeah, but I feel like
Like
depends
a
on how you
a divergent.
depend-
I am against the grain, guys.
Like that's your own. That's the same problem.
Yeah, that, exactly. Yeah.
Um,
I just hate it. Like, I just feel like. But yeah, continue.
There's nothing wrong with being, but like figuring out that you are kind of pre-set up in a certain way.
Yeah, that I would be more likely to do certain things if I was. Yeah.
That's like being human in a nutshell. It would be psychotic to think that you can jump off a 10-story building and survive.
Yeah.
And fly.
Yeah.
That's just not, humans can't fly. It's
Yeah.
just a fact. I think that same kind of principle applies to how people's minds work. I think there are certain types. And I think when you, before you actually ask the question, that question, like how are humans different, you look around at the world and it's just this kind of chaotic mess, ball of
Yep.
humans and different mindsets and stuff.
Yep.
And you never know what you can get. And when you study BTI, you start to realize that, okay, there are these kind of like broad, but at the same time, kind of like set
Yeah.
ways of human mentality, of human psyche set up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's good because you figure out a lot about yourself
Yeah.
through it.
You can try to. Yeah.
You can try to,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And some interesting insights. I want to look for the type that you tested with the first time. We were talking about it.
It's like the guy on the stand with the lectern. What's it called? Like the debater.
Was it the debater?
Yeah, I think.
Because ENFJ is like a whole different one.
Oh, really?
And that does tie in a lot more to.
I do remember ENFJ, but
Ties into also like the fear of not being an individual.
yeah.
The shadow type, which is because everyone has all the functions as A functions.
Yeah.
And four conscious, four unconscious.
Yeah.
And the unconscious ones are another type unto itself
Mm.
that other people walk around. Like other people have and they possess. And your ideal type is the opposite type, right?
As in, what are you talking about right now?
So you have a type, which is linked, kind of like yin yang.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, so like my archetype of character,
like your personality type via
personality
MBTI
type, got you,
has another type, which is kind of like the yin to your yang,
got you.
where all the functions are the same, but flipped on
Complemented.
each version. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And so the INFP, which is the ENFJ's countertype,
Ah,
is big on individualism.
yeah,
Like when you meet an INFP, they don't care what people think about.
Yeah.
They're just like I am.
bro, this reminds me of,
Like, I am. And like you tend to find that you are attracted to INFPs,
yeah,
right? So, and people don't even realize this.
yeah.
This
This is like astrology, but actual
it's
astrology.
not even astrology. Like, astrology is its own thing. Astrology, I think, is 90% bullshit.
yeah.
But MBTI, and it has been called like astrology for academics.
Yeah, no, fucking no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
you kind of, you have to look into it. And with the EEG scans, you
Mm.
start to realize that, oh, okay, maybe this does have some truth, like some
Mm.
real quantifiable truth.
Mm.
And you start to realize that it's actually legit.
Yeah, oh,
And then you start to realize
without a
like,
doubt.
types and stuff. And like you start to be able to discern who's who. It's a bit of a stupid game, go around to parties and stuff and be like,
Oh, well, bro,
talking to people.
can't
and
do that with
stuff.
astrology, bro. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
that's true.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's true that astrology's a little further off the deep end. You always into astrology too.
Yeah, bro, I fucking like it as well.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
not
got-
gonna discount it at all.
It's got some, I think, what do you think about astrology? In terms of,
You're
like,
gonna have to ask a
truth
specific question because I'm not trying to say some stuff that sound that's like politically incorrect.
factor. Do you think, where's the truth in it, do you think? Do you think, like, if you test as a Sagittarius, that you are on the
Alright, the same way that I think that there's like a logical side to shit, and then there's like a more emotional side to shit. I think that astrology is a manifestation of what you just said, that personality types, in a more of an emotional type of intangible way. In the fact that, or for the reason that, somebody who is a heavy subscriber to astrology or that type of inclination
Yeah.
can justify things and accept things quicker than somebody who wouldn't be, like the same person,
Yep.
based on the fact that even though the structure of what they're thinking about might be not very logical or flawed, they're using it like you would use religion to come to a peace of mind
Yep.
based on things that may not necessarily be true. So in that way, I fuck with it.
Yep.
But I still like I don't know. I just something sick about like I don't know.
I would 100% agree. I was into astrology too. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, Sagittarius, like, oh, you're a Leo? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, fine.
Yeah.
Let's call it that. Like, that, I think that's natural.
Yeah.
But like MBTI is great because MBTI goes like a level deeper.
Yeah. That's
It doesn't-
epic.
doesn't
Yeah.
just go to like your birth month.
Yeah.
Goes into like you can be any type.
Fuck. So you can have. So your complementary personality type is like the ideal like meshing of two personalities,
Depends how you define ideal, right? It depends where you want to part.
or like
In terms of like the person you're going to groove with the best,
Yeah.
and the person that's going to give you the most growth out of your personality,
yeah.
it's your shadow type.
Ah, that's mean.
It's super interesting. It's
Yeah.
super interesting stuff.
Mm.
Like my girlfriend is my shadow type,
Mm.
and so like it's a weird kind of thing because we understand each other in that kind of like intuitive. You don't need to say it non-verbal sense,
Yeah.
but at the same time, sometimes like she says things in a way or does things in a way, and I have like it's completely alien to me.
Yeah.
But I still get it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's still like
Within the
in
realm.
my
of-
realm,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's like it's completely different.
Ah, give me an example, because if you can,
Um,
if you can.
I guess like she, and this is interesting because you're my type of, as far as I'm concerned, I'm
Yeah.
the introverted version of you. So
Yeah.
you're the extroverted version.
Yep.
I think
Definitely.
that we see that a lot.
Yeah.
And so, in particular with this, so she, sometimes I'll be like, I'll like say, oh, did you mean this or that? Because I'll like pick up that maybe she'll be acting a certain way or she'll say something.
Ah, yeah.
With
Yeah.
like non-verbal tones.
Yep.
But she doesn't really, I would say, care for non-verbal stuff. It's just that like her focus isn't on how she's coming off to me.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm hyper aware of that. I'm sure you're
Ah,
hyper aware.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's been paralyzing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's been paralyzing
For me,
as well.
yeah.
But with ENFPs, they just don't care Now that comes with its own set of problems, right? Because you don't know how you're going off to be.
Yeah.
And their minds aren't wide in a way where
It's not the first thing I think of.
exactly
Yeah.
they think like, how does this relate to me? Whereas we tend to think, how does this relate to the people around me?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's good because we need both.
For sure.
We need people who care about. I'm not saying they don't care about people. We need people who kind of choose group harmony over how they feel about things.
Yeah.
You also need people who care about how they feel about things.
Yeah.
Because you need that. If you
Yeah.
don't have that, then the whole like
Intelligence is sterile without empathy, mate.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like you kind of lose your own identity. And I think that's like what you were talking about earlier. They don't have it. Like,
Yeah.
like my girlfriend does not go through that at all. She knows who she is. That's fine. If people don't like her, then whatever.
Yeah.
Sure, she might care, whether someone likes her or not, but that's you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in terms of like,
The general consensus.
like when she meets someone who's like her, she's like, I fucking want this person. Like, we're gonna get along great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I meet someone who is very similar to me,
Yeah.
in the past I'd be a little almost suspicious. I'd be
Yeah.
like, this is weird. And then like, now I've kind of learned to like, okay, so it's just we're the same type.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
fun. So that's like a difference. That's that kind of difference in the sense. Of
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, and everyone has a counter type, shadow type, it's
Mm.
types and everything. And it's great. And going back to mythology, the Greeks wrote about this
Yeah.
ages ago. They were
Bro.
saying, like, humans were born with 2 faces, 4 arms, 4 legs. And,
It's in Japanese. It's everywhere, bro.
Yeah, God split in half
Yeah.
and condemned them to walk the earth in search of the other half. And this is that manifested. This is literally that.
Fuck.
And if you look into the whole thing,
Bro, that's
it's
mint.
all there. And it's not like it's not like you can find one person who's your other
Yeah,
half.
no,
People
I
talk
know.
about one.
Yeah.
And that's true.
That's like some Disney shit.
Yeah, there's not like one person. I mean, there's simple.
I mean, for some people there might be.
Yeah, but like some people, like they have the one, and then they never been dating again.
Yeah.
And they die or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I think the whole concept of the one, someone you just gel with without any kind of effort, that is the shadow type. And that's all like written in Carl Jung's theory. And he talks about how opposites attract, it's the whole that thing. And it's interesting because if you study theory long enough and you know people, certain people, you date their own type. And that's very interesting because you don't get any growth in your own type. And you kind of, it's a relationship.
Like someone very similar to you.
It's pretty much exactly the
Yeah.
same.
So a lot of narcissists do that.
Do that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Narcissists tend to date people with high status.
Yeah.
They don't want to like, don't fuck with this dude.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like an ego thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Whereas this is more, you're too scared of growing. You're too scared of like venturing into the unknown psychologically.
Yep.
You want someone who is like basically a mirror
Yeah.
in the sense that I want to know
What you're
exactly
gonna
what this person
do.
does,
Yeah.
everything they do.
Yeah.
Because that's like psychologically competent.
Yeah.
Whereas with countertypes, it's the complete opposite. I mean, sometimes I look at like my girlfriend, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I ask her, like, we go this back and forth, figure out what the fuck's going on. And that's good because that's how you grow.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
start
yeah.
to learn the inner workings and like how this person works in a completely opposite sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Fucking know.
That teaches you.
Alright. Bit of a segue, but like this same type of shit. What is your opinion then on casual relationships?
Well, I think,
In terms of
yeah.
like the thing that made me think of it was when you said you don't grow if you date your own type. I feel like this thing of casual, like of hookup culture is just so fucking whack. Like
You need to get to know the person to begin with.
yeah,
So
well,
you can't, you know what I mean?
yeah, and I feel like there's such a, like I feel like I place a lot more emphasis on like sexual relations than a normal person. In that, I feel like it's more meaningful than people pretend it isn't, and I don't like that about the way the world works right now. What do you reckon? Like I can see why it's a thing,
Yeah,
and I don't like it. Well, but I
Yeah.
don't like it.
yeah, yeah. No, I get you. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm probably a bit more brash about it.
Mm.
I think,
What does that mean?
like in the sense that, like, it pisses me off, but at the same time, I just think it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
At the same time, people can do whatever they want.
Mm.
It's a fucking bunch of contradictions.
You're a walking contradiction, man.
No, yeah, like that's what you're
Aren't we all?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, I'm of the opinion that people can do whatever they want. I don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. Free will is like the number one rule of the game. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you just want to like go through potential sexual partners just for pleasure's sake or for ego's sake or whatever, that's fine. You're on this earth,
I should show you a video. But you keep talking while I'm getting.
you can do whatever you want. Like, that's the beauty of life.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't ever listen to what someone else tells you to do. Someone can tell you what to do.
Yep.
But personally, I don't find it like gratifying in a sense.
Yeah,
I think it's
exactly
like-
the same. I've never even done it, but I'm just like, wow.
It's almost like assisted masturbation, right?
Yeah, that's what my mate says. Exact same shit.
Yeah, it's like, and that's just how I see it. I don't think it's like I don't really enjoy it most of the time.
No, fuck it. Already, I'll get it somewhere here. It's like a woman. It's like a chick talking about her relation, her like experience. Is it not here? Her like experience of being like a self-proclaimed slut. No, I think it's not gonna fucking be here. See if I can find it on YouTube. 'Cause it is like girls. Wait, it's like some TikTok video. That's why TikTok's kind of lit, because like you get shit like that.
It's like with raw film.
Yeah, like the actual good shit, and like you can get people that are hyper, like they overshare because they have no one to talk to. They just do it on TikTok, but it's actually good for. It's like positive for people to view that and like resonate with.
Yep, that's good.
Girl who says I don't even know what to type.
Did she just like?
She's like literally says, "This is my experience being a slut." And I was like,
She can do the whole thing.
yeah. It's like a 40-second video, but
What is she? What's her general consensus?
I don't want to say it because I'll get cancelled. But I'm trying to get that's why I'm trying to get the video.
Yeah, cancer.
But no, I'll just say it if I can't find it right now. You know, fuck this. So basically, she was like, she just tended to resonate, and this would be for both genders. So, but this is just coming from a chick, so I'm going to say it in her words, not mine. So basically, what she said is, after, like, when she stopped chasing that validation, when she stopped doing all the casual relationship, like just going out, repeating and rinsing the same process, she started to figure out who she was more. Started relying less on the validation of the other sex. She started looking for better partners, like people that she can actually benefit off in general, because casual, like the person that you want to sleep with once is very different to the person that you want to spend more than like an hour with.
Yep.
Like non-sexual attention.
Like how you select them.
Yeah. And there was a really good video. I can't remember everything, but it's essentially down those lines. And she's like, avoid it. But it's like that thing of like, you can tell people to avoid it, but like, yeah. But there's also like that thing of like, if I was in charge of, like if I was making rules, I would probably be like, let's like avoid doing that.
Yeah.
Avoid like drugs, avoid porn, avoid like,
It's so hard to like.
yeah.
Because people do that.
Yeah.
People did that to us.
Yeah. And we like you and I, people will be like, fuck you, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like most people like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the child spirit or the teenage spirit. Or the youth spirit.
Yeah. The punk era.
And that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
It's just how it's got to be.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really click until you live it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's me in a fucking nutshell. Like, my dad would literally be like, yes. So if he heard you say that.
Yeah.
Because, like, the amount of times he said shit to me, I just had to go through the experience.
Mm.
Even though I knew what to do, and he knew what I was doing, I had to be like,
Just have to go through it.
yeah, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100% agree. Maybe tribes back in the day got it right in the sense that, you know, when I think it was when boys were like 12 to 14, the elders would literally kidnap the boy from his
Yeah.
sleep, like take him like a couple of k's out or 10 k's out
Yep.
in the middle of the night,
Yep.
just to some remote location,
Yep.
drop him off, blindfold or whatever, run away back to camp,
Yeah.
and the kid would have to fend for themselves.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
track back. That's forcing it. You know what I mean? Like,
But even that's not the worst thing.
No, it's not the worst thing at all. But like, you can't do that. Obviously, I come back.
You can't. No, you
No,
can't.
I think you just kind of have to live life. And
Yes. Well, I mean, the
So-
equivalent of that is just like kind of throwing the kid out into the world,
Yeah, exactly.
which was what that is.
There's a big prize, especially in Victoria.
Mm.
There's a lot. It's a very kind of helicopter parent governments like that. Parents like
Yeah. The culture's like that.
The
Yeah.
culture's like that, exactly.
Ugh.
And it doesn't go anywhere. And like you think you protect people by protecting.
Oh, but
You make them less able to protect themselves.
Yes.
You essentially make them weak.
Yep. Oh, there's so many connections to that. What you just
Exactly.
said.
It's
Like,
fine.
yeah.
It's
Just
crazy.
the medicines again, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see it. It is the culture. As you're saying.
Yeah.
It tentacles into everything.
At the same time, there's like I'm glad that I was protected from certain things because I feel like if I had like no rules when I was a kid, I had strict parents.
Yep.
If I had no fucking rules, bro, I would have flown too close to the sun, especially with things like mind-altering substances, like just reckless activity. I don't know for sure, but I feel like there's definitely a capacity for that.
I'm gonna maybe part of that's due to the fact that your parents were strict and you wanted to like rebellion and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it might have been a self-fulfilling prophecy, but
because that happens.
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
But I agree. I think there shouldn't be no parenting.
Mm.
You should just like baby comes out of the womb,
Yeah,
just get it into get on IV and
Yeah.
then figure it out.
yeah.
Babies die that get one, which is kind of crazy.
If they don't get love. Yeah,
they
sure,
I think
for
it's
sure.
SIDS, something for death.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's, there's a whole study about it.
fuck, it's cool.
It wasn't right. It wasn't a study. It's like it happened.
Yeah.
It's just started dying because
Yeah.
there was like one nurse for 20 infants. There wasn't enough love going around.
Fuck.
So it just started dying.
Damn, that is crazy.
So we need nurturing in that sense.
Yeah.
We need guidance.
Mm.
But the problem these days is that parents don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
Parents are.
yeah. It's broken people raising broken people.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I'm not a broken person. I'm fucking
I think
retarded.
everyone's fucking broken.
Yeah, everyone
I
is.
think we're all fucking broken.
Yeah.
I think it's the human duty
Mm.
to unfuck yourself.
Yeah, that's the game. That is the game. Like that's what I think. We incarnate in here to learn soul lessons, and then you learn one lesson in one life. But sometimes, like my life, I believe,
Yeah.
I'm here to learn a fuck ton of lessons in a short amount of time, and do some really dope shit in the process.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, and everybody has that capacity.
Yeah, 100%. I like the podcast and interviewing
Yeah.
people. That's where I go.
Yeah,
There's
fucking.
no, there's no exchange of ideas.
Yeah, well, it's
There's no
limited.
talking team stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It'll just
It's all a 4-minute clip,
Exactly.
like condensed, so you can fit on TikTok.
It's not one people have ADHD proven with. everyone-
I feel like a lot of it's
remember Coles?
misdiagnosed.
Yeah, 100%. Do you remember Coles when we were talking about nothing against people with depression? But a lot of back then, what was it, like 2018, 2019?
Something like that. Yeah.
And
No, it wouldn't have
everyone
been
was
2019.
Yeah, like,
17,
yeah,
18 or something.
And everyone was like, oh, depression, oh, depression.
Mm.
Some people did, absolutely. But most people it was just fashionable to say depression.
Yeah. Especially
And-
because like the artists and shit were
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
a lot of yeah.
People are always like,
Yeah, XXX Tentacion.
Real sad stuff.
Yeah.
Real sad boys, sad girls.
Yeah. Little peep.
Like, and we were talking about how, like, oh, they're just doing it because it's just kind of culturally appropriate. It's just
Yeah.
the thing we do.
Yeah. The dumb thing.
Can't ADHD.
Fuck, yeah.
ADHD.
Yeah. But it's
like-
actually happening though.
Yeah.
It's the sad part of it
It's similar
is.
depression. Like, it was going up, but it was almost going up because people wanted to be depressed.
Also, I feel like we're just rejecting, it's the body rejecting the way of life that the mind is giving the body. You know what I mean? Like we're living in like a kind of facade, fake type, like with you not getting enough vitamin D. That's like a minor example. It's like a physical example of what would happen in your mental sphere. Like you don't expose yourself to the real world, like the sun, and then you have adverse effects
Yeah.
to it. Like it's just that, except like in your behaviors. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I reckon
And the behavior for the ADHD shit is the
this is
swiping. Yeah.
because there is no TikTok now.
Yeah.
I mean, there really isn't any kind of your attention is. If you go sit on a mountain, fucking yell,
Mm.
you're going to be the least ADHD human
Yeah, yeah, it's a variable thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to be like focused because in nature we can be like every bird chirp, like
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
yeah, yeah,
You're going to be like focused in your learn to like really because that's
Yeah.
how you, that's how you get stuff done.
Yeah.
By focusing.
Yeah.
No one ever got stuff done by ADHD.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
By being all over the place.
Yeah.
And secondly, you can actually like get to know yourself
Mm.
if you're not ADHD. If you can just. I always read. I just
If you can like distance yourself from that thinking.
distance yourself from thinking and just focus on one thing enough to go into its depth.
Ah, yeah.
And I always relate to it's like when you have a magnifying glass as a kid with Da Vinci,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
you're trying to find the focal point and be like that elliptical going around.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then you'd eventually find a point, and because you'd focused it all to a single point, you started doing some things.
Yeah, yeah. She gets some shit done.
Get some shit done.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the exact same
Start to
thing.
bully some ants.
Maybe yeah, we evolve morally too, not only spiritually. So, yeah, and I think it's exactly the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're ADHD, it's just a warning. You want to
Yeah.
live zero.
Yeah.
If you can focus it into a point which is needed to get
Yes.
stuff done these days,
Yes.
you can't.
And that's what you mean when you say, like, psychology is fucked right now because you have the symptoms and it's a part of your personality now. Like it's
Exactly.
like
People like want to just
perceived as though like you can't take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a fucking huge fear of mine.
It's
Like that's something would become a part of me that I can't get rid of. And that's such a fraud thing to be like believing.
yeah.
It's a scam.
I'm glad you know that. I'm
Yeah.
glad, like,
Well, I've had to learn that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because that was the whole thing as well. Like of the ego
Yeah.
dissolution shit.
yeah.
It's like, fuck, I'm a new me, but
Mm.
I'm still the same like person, essentially.
You guys are interesting in that sense, huh?
Yeah.
You almost like
It's the ultimate just shattering of
Yeah.
fucking.
you almost want to believe that you're unfixable because that's what you believed previously.
Yeah.
Also because
It's the narrative push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that too,
And that's it. Because if your ego's good, as long as you're in control of it.
yeah. Mm.
There's a great quote which is like the mind is a horrible master, a great servant.
Mm.
And they really mean the ego in that sense. 'Cause
Yeah.
the mind
Yeah.
as a concept kind of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's what David Goggins says as well.
Mm. He's a boss.
Yeah, he's a boss.
Um,
He's extreme as fuck.
yeah, yeah. But you need to do that.
Mm.
Um,
Complete mind over matter. Yeah.
Absolutely. He was talking about, I remember he was interviewing a guy, and this got to mind. So he was talking to this guy who had like stage 3 cancer.
Yeah.
I can't remember what cancer. And he'd already had it once, went to remission and came back. And he talked to, like, listened to a couple of audio voice from David. And
The ex-cancer patient did.
the ex-cancer patient, yeah.
Yeah.
And the cancer just kept coming back.
Yeah.
And he listened to David and embodied this kind of get up and go,
Mm.
you know, stop feeling sorry for yourself mindset.
Mm.
And the cancer just went to remission and completely fucked off.
Really?
And that's
Oh, bro, the human mind has so much untapped potential. Bro.
exactly.
Oh
It's-
my
it's-
god, if only people knew.
People, it's crazy, man. We shouldn't have psychology. We should have like holistic
Yeah.
body, whatever.
Knowledge of self,
Body.
man.
Exactly.
Knowledge of
Just
self.
knowledge of all. It's all fucking connected.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can take the brain out, study that separate from the body.
Yeah.
It's literally fucking
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like, that should be such a simple concept.
Mm.
Yeah. Especially in the academic sphere.
Yeah. Well, it's because the academic sphere, in my opinion, it's because the academic sphere is complete logic, complete
Mm.
masculine.
They're all,
Whereas-
like compartmentalised.
Yeah, there's no,
Like,
there's, yeah, and in that, those things are compartmental, like certain things, and there's no, it's one half of the complement.
Mm.
There's no feminine
Go
emotional
back to the
mastery.
human.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
But like I said, that's coming in. The feminine
Yeah.
energy is coming in,
Mm.
and it's fucking. Right now, it's a bit like I don't know. Ugh.
It's finding its way.
Yeah, but it's very overbearing now with things like feminism and these type of movements of just like fuck a man or whatever. But that's probably thinking about it now. That's probably necessary so that it makes its kind of big entrance, and then it sort of finds its level, and then it just becomes.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going. Like think like 1960s America. There was no feminine. Like feminine was kind of like clean the dishes.
Subservient.
Yeah, subservient.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like the man would go to work and do all that stuff and be masculine and all that shit. You could say that was probably not really what masculinity is. Maybe they were more
No.
mature.
Well, there's in the spiritual like kind of community, they would call it the difference would be like divine masculine and then divine feminine, as opposed to just like
I've heard of
the
it.
normal one. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But now it's kind of, you know, feminism, I think, is a natural process. Like, it needs to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they have been oppressed.
Mm.
And I guess, you know, there are pockets of oppression here and there these days. It's much more widely accepted. It's much better than it was in the past now.
Yeah.
But there's still a ways to go.
For sure.
And I would 100% agree with you in the sense that it kind of goes extreme and then kind of sends itself. And
Yeah.
I always imagine from the Matrix when Neo realizes that he can fucking control everything.
Yeah.
And the shooting at him stops. I'm not sure he stops the bullet. He does that like, and like the ripples,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
wobbles, and goes like.
Oh, it turns it into marbles, or is it the one where it goes like back, like?
I'm not. It's like I can't remember what the fuck. I think he goes into the guy.
Oh yeah.
He like takes over the guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
grabs him and like starts like fusing with him and goes into him.
Ah,
And do you remember that one?
vaguely.
It's like I think it's after he gets shot.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So he gets shot. I'm not sure. He stops the bullets. It's in the hallway.
Mm.
And then like an Agent Smith appears behind him or some shit.
Mm.
And he just turns around, like tries to attack, like dodges it, blah blah blah. He's
Yeah.
busy. And he grabs this guy and like morphs into him in the same way that Agent Smith. takes
Ah,
over.
yeah. Oh, and then the whole thing goes green. Yeah.
And the whole thing goes green.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The
Stuff.
hallway. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once he like takes over his body, there's like this ripple thing. It's like
Yeah. Like
and it stabilizes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I reckon. And you can like maybe simply metaphor.
Like when you catch a Pokemon.
yeah, sure. But it stops fucking indoctrinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also just the pendulum.
Yeah.
Pendulums swing from extreme to extreme.
Yeah.
Give them enough time, they just
Evens
fucking
out.
same.
Mm.
Happens all the time. It's just kind of the natural process of humans figuring themselves out.
Mm.
You can say with anything. You
Mm.
can say with anything. I mean, like people who have like psychotic breaks, you know, they're like so fixed in their mind, psychotic break, they go and do like 4 shrooms a day.
Yeah.
They just like they go right down the deep end,
Yeah.
and then they realize, okay, I've gone too far in the opposite, and they come back a little bit, and they kind of
Mm.
get into the middle.
Beautiful.
So I think it's just a natural way.
Damn. I wish I had heard that like a couple of weeks ago.
You doing shrooms?
No, not true. No.
No,
No, I'm sober, bro. Yeah.
no, no.
Wow, it's alright. Then all the cunts who really would get upset at that, not really watching at this point, so you can say whatever you want, really. Yeah. Hitler's a pretty good guy. I'll probably cut that out. Yeah. Maybe,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But yeah, bro.
True now.
Huh?
True now. Well, there's some truth in that. We'll get to that next time.
There actually fucking is. But
I thought it was-
that is way too much of a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, that's very close.
Yeah, yeah. But
I mean, he thought he was a good guy. You know,
that's the thing. He's another person that is an example of the psychic inflation. Because he justified the means to the end.
Even though it was clearly, and like the German people followed him,
Yeah.
and like they were in it, kind of.
Well, from our perspective, yeah. You never
Yeah.
know what actually happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's like to a degree Korea right now.
I mean, that's Victoria.
North
right?
Korea. Yeah. It's like, we don't know what's going on in the psyches of the people that are in there.
It's true.
And like, we're just kind of programmed to hate them. Same with Russians. We're kind of like programmed to like be like, Russian? Ah, must be shit. It's like Apple and Windows, USA and Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. Humans just need to like get along, man.
Yeah.
It's solve everything.
It sure would. Alright, buddy, I'm going to wrap it. Last question I always ask is, I don't know, where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Any messages to yourself when you're watching this and like something along that line? Do you want to leave any?
Yeah, this would be like archived. Basically.
Yeah, bro, this is a time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah, your kids are gonna watch this and be like, "Holy fuck, Dad, you're a nerd." yeah. You're fucking sick.
I don't know, 5 years, I guess.
Oh, not even 5, just like a message to
It's a long
for the
time,
future,
I guess.
for a time capsule message. Yeah.
I guess hopefully I look back on this and think, God, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you see the shimmers of
Of like,
your true self.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
like where you were like,
and like if you look at yourself in 5-10 years,
yeah.
future Phil, and hopefully it's like, you know, just looking at me now and being like, alright, we've developed, we've got a bit better, and we've come through some obstacles, blah blah blah.
Inshallah.
And all that,
Yeah.
That's it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Till next time.
See
Yeah.
you. Right?
Do it again, mate. Fucking let it for like 6 hours or some shit.
Hang on, start. Yeah, that's me.